Chicago. It was brutal for both quarterbacks, but he underperformed. There's no question. I mean, if he follows that up with a similar performance against the Seahawks this weekend, like, are we not having a serious conversation about Jimmy G getting back behind center?
I think he would absolutely have to play terrible for them to consider anything after 2 weeks. And frankly, if they considered something after 2 weeks, then I think they had a poor process coming into the year, because they didn't have him at practices all summer. He was doing his own thing, talking about Jimmy G. Trey Lance played 1 year of FCS football, that's basically the old 1AA, at North Dakota State as a redshirt freshman. So the idea that he wasn't going to have some early struggles, I think, is really faulty. I would give him at least 6 games, unless it's god-awful, which I don't think it'll be. I think he'll show steady improvement. Typically Kyle Shanahan's offense is very good for quarterbacks, and I'm not judging that kid very much for what happened in a monsoon in Chicago.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was fun to play in. It probably wasn't fun to be Christian Watson after, you're on the big stage. You got a chance to catch a 75-yard touchdown pass from a Hall of Famer, and it goes through your hands. And certainly there's better days ahead for him. But yeah, this is a Packers team with high expectations. You mentioned how wide open the NFC is. Do you think Aaron Rodgers will figure it out with those young receivers? And do you think he's going about it the right way, the way he's treated things in the media, the way he said he's being very direct with those young wide receivers?
Not a big fan of it, actually. It feels like he's clearly placing blame on them. It feels like he's talking about it all the time. You can argue, of course, that he's just being honest, but I don't know. This is kind of what he signed up for when he came back. Kind of what he signed up for when Davante Adams left, and he wasn't able to do enough, Aaron Rodgers, to convince Davante to stay, which I don't know. Listen, I'm not blaming Rodgers for that, but I kind of feel like Tom Brady would have been able to convince Davante Adams to stay. I'm just saying. And so now I don't even know if that's the biggest issue, though, for the Packers. I think the young receivers will get better. I want to see when Elton Jenkins is out there. I want to see when Bakhtiari's out there, their 2 best linemen, their 2 tackles, and see how well they play. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at this point, where I'm very curious to see if and when these guys come back and how well they play.
The Patriots are in Pittsburgh this weekend after Mac Jones and that Patriots offense. There were big question marks in the preseason. They followed that up with like a 3-point performance against the Dolphins. And I know they moved the ball on occasion, and that Steelers defense came up with a huge performance against the Bengals, causing 5 turnovers. They barely win the game in overtime, but no TJ Watt this weekend. What do you think the Steelers defense can be without TJ Watt? Obviously, like a hugely impactful player, but are we too quick to write the Steelers off in the AFC?
Well, I think we can write them off in terms of being a legitimate Super Bowl contender to actually get to the Super Bowl. But in terms of a playoff contender, we're always too quick to write the Steelers off. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. They have an uncanny ability as an organization to never relent, never give up. It's really very impressive the way they always. I mean, they had a guy named Duck Hodges, and they won 9 games that year, 8 games, whatever it was. I have so much respect for that organization, and I don't want to say commitment to excellence. That's a Raiders thing, but their commitment to never giving in. Never saying, okay, this is a rebuilding year. This is going to be a lost year. Never. That's never the case in Pittsburgh.
Do you think Mitch Trubisky is the quarterback there all season long?
No, I'd be surprised if he is. I mean, I don't think he looked that great in the first game. I think Pickett was so good in the preseason that, I think that actually there's a decent chance to Pickett sooner rather than later. Because what are they building, right? They know
Right.
they're not, especially now with the Watt injury. While they're going to keep trying to win, they're not at any point going to relent. But they know they're not going to the Super Bowl this year, and they know the sooner they get Kenny Pickett some reps and up to speed, the sooner they have a chance to get back to where they want to be.
Talking to Ross Tucker, former offensive lineman, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Westwood won, and he'll be on the call of the Titans-Bills game in Buffalo, in Orchard Park, one of his old stomping grounds, on Monday night, where they are hosting the defending top seed in the AFC, it should be stated, the Tennessee Titans. The line is 9.5, Ross, and I get it. Like the Bills looked like a juggernaut going into this season. They looked like a juggernaut against the defending Super Bowl champions. The Titans lost to the Giants, but boy, that if ever there was a big reaction line, it was that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I predicted all offseason. I thought the Titans would take a step back. I thought the loss of A.J. Brown was significant. I have my doubts about Derrick Henry's ability to continue to carry the load with as many touches as he's gotten in recent years. Then you lose your best edge rusher in Harold Landry. It's obviously not good, right? In fact, it's really bad. And I thought that showed against the Giants. That said, Mike Vrabel's still a heck of a coach. They're still a prideful bunch. I think it's too many points as well. I said on the Even Money podcast, I kind of like the Titans getting the points. That's a lot of points for a Titans team that has a formula to beat these Bills like they did last year. I don't think they'll win the game, but I do think they can keep it close.
Yeah, you are the host of the Even Money podcast, and we do see overreaction. Like early on in an NFL season, if you're willing to go against some of these lines, some of the bigger spreads after a reaction from Vegas after a week one, you can take advantage. Is there anything else that stands out to you, Ross, when we look at the lines for week two?
Yeah, I thought there were a bunch of lines that were just too heavy. I mean, I like the Atlanta Falcons. Last I checked, they were getting 10.5 from the Rams. The Atlanta Falcons should have won that game against the Saints. They were up by 16 in the fourth quarter. They ran the ball very effectively. I thought Mariota handled himself well. And for them, the line's now 10. That's a lot. I'm surprised the Niners, this isn't even a reaction to week one, evidently, but the Niners are 9.5-point favorites over the Seahawks. You know, I think it's probably my tendency as a former player, but when I see big lines like that, I just almost always lean to the underdog, just because, you know, I've been on it. You know, I've been a favored team by a lot and we lost, and I've been a underdog by a lot and we've won. So it just seems like a lot of points.
Yeah, you mentioned that Seahawks game. We didn't mention the Jamal Adams injury. He's out for the season. This is a guy that was acquired for a lot. The Seahawks gave up a lot to get him, and he didn't have a sack in 12 games last year. I mean, how much did the Seahawks actually lose in not having Jamal Adams for the rest of the year?
Well, I think he is a leader of the team. I do. I think he's a leader of the team. I do think they designed the defense around his skills a little bit. I think it's a pretty significant loss. I mean, they think it is, right? I mean, they traded a ton to get him. They paid him a ton of money. So they certainly think it's a big loss. I don't think it's a huge X and O's loss, but he's one of the only kind of name players they have, and a movable chess piece on defense that teams sort of have to be aware of, that clearly they don't have to be anymore.
Ross, always a pleasure to chat. Do you expect to see many Tucker jerseys in Western New York when you're there on Monday?
I don't, but that would be amazing if I saw just one. I think a year or two ago, I got money from one of the websites because somebody ordered a Tucker 65 jersey. That would be amazing. Back when I played, it was pretty much just my mom and my wife, except for like once or twice I saw one. You had to special order it. They didn't exactly sell it in the store next to the Bledsoe jersey.
Hold on. Is that still the case? You get like a royalty when someone buys your jersey?
Yeah, it's not much. I don't know, it's like 37 cents or something. But yes, you get money every time someone buys your jersey. Correct.
All right. Wow. Did not know that. Ross, really appreciate the time. Enjoy the games this weekend. Enjoy, the game in Buffalo on Monday as well. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben.
There's Ross Tucker, former offensive lineman for many a team, including the Buffalo Bills, host of the Russ Tucker Football Podcast, Westwood One, and hosted the Even Money Podcast. And there's other things that he's doing that he will occasionally mention throughout the course of our conversations on Friday evenings. But yeah, Even Money Podcast was it today, and you can follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. I had no idea that you get some sort of royalty, which is great if you're like Patrick Mahomes. You're like, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, come on. And it probably comes in one lump sum, right? And you're like, oh, just throw it on the pile. That's great. More money, sure. But yeah, if you're like Ross Tucker and you like forgot that that's a thing, and then every once in a while you get 35 cents, you're like, you know what? Keep your 35 cents. I'd rather not. Like, I'd rather not be reminded that very few people are interested in an offensive lineman's jersey. Thanks, but no thanks. All right. We always appreciate Ross. Time now for Last Call, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. I wish I could tell you that it's all brand new Blue Jays with a bullpen game. It's not really. It's kind of old hat for this team. They've 3 great starters. Did not include Jose Barrios in that. And the potential of Jose Barrios as the 4th. But they only have 4 major league starters in the major leagues right now. Like, you need at least 5. Blue Jays have 4. Now, they do have an off day on Monday. And, yeah, Mitch White was pretty good in 6 innings of bulk work in game 1 of that double dip against the Rays. But, no, another bullpen day. And for some reason, Trevor Richards is the guy the Blue Jays look to on those days. And as a result, I was going to say the Blue Jays are not favored by all that much, but they are. They're minus 167 favorites, according to Bet Rivers. The Orioles plus 148 with Jordan Lyles on the hill. The total is 9. If you'd like Vladdy to hit a home run, just a hit, RBI, and a run scored in tonight's game, that is paying plus 230 on Bet Rivers. Elsewhere, let's do some NFL. Let's get on it. The New England Patriots, as I mentioned, in Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, are road favorites despite the lack of offense in Miami a week ago. They are minus 2 on the road in Pittsburgh. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Superdome. Brady with kind of a mental block, you would say. If there's any mental block for him since he's become a Buccaneer, it's those Saints. It used to be the Dolphins a little bit in New England, but the Buccaneers still favored minus 2.5 in New Orleans. Ravens are hosting the Dolphins. Ravens favored minus 3.5 as they kind of look like their old selves after getting over all the injuries they went through last year. The Dolphins, yet to be decided how good a win that was against the Patriots. Seahawks trying to go to 2-0, as Ross mentioned, in San Francisco to play a Niners team that did nothing in a monsoon. Niners still heavily favored, minus 8.5. Bengals in Dallas playing Cooper Rush. Can't lose that game. Bengals minus 7. Raiders at home against the Cardinals minus 5.5. The Bears in Green Bay. The Packers minus 10.5. Despite, not a lot of offense happening there against the Vikings last week. Bills minus 9.5, like we said, against the Titans. And the Eagles in the second Monday night game. We get a doubleheader of Monday night football. The Eagles are minus 2 favorites against the Minnesota Vikings. And that was Last Call, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. All right, Blue Jays can say night-night to the Baltimore Orioles. Honestly, if they just take 2 out of 3. It's probably already night-night time for the Orioles in an overall sense, being 4.5 games back with now fewer than 20 games remaining in the season, but definitely nail in the coffin time. Blue Jays win this series. Off day coming on Monday. Speaking of Monday, as the next time I'll be hosting this radio program. Listen to us then. Have a great weekend, everybody. Blue Jays baseball coming your way next. Ben Wagner down at the ballpark. I am Ben Ennis, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
From the City News 680 Traffic Center, I'm Zach Bodenstein. Watch out for a stalled vehicle eastbound 401 at Yonge and Collectors. The left lane blocked. Now, there is a tow truck on scene. Hopefully clears soon, but the eastbound 401 slow anywhere from the 427 to Leslie, alternately Express and Collectors. And then we have an East 403 crash at the Link blocking the left lane, causing delays from east of Wilson. Tonight's Lotto Max jackpot's an estimated $70 million, plus an estimated 10 Max Millions. Buy tickets in store or at olg.ca. Play responsibly, 18 plus.
At Toyota, our vehicles have always had quality and advanced safety features built right in.
Because sometimes I might forget to check my blind spots.
Quality means everything to us because it means everything to you. Order a new 2022 Corolla L from $23,101. Dealer may charge additional fees up to $1,221. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today. It's time to Toyota.
Welcome to the Hall of Dreams. Let's see what Friday's Lotto Max jackpot of an estimated $70 million plus an estimated 10 Max Millions could get you. Here's Anne's dream of trying every world cuisine on location. There's Stuart looking at his private golf course from his private plane. The dreams that dreams dream of. This Friday's Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $70 million plus an estimated 10 Max Millions. Why dream to the min when you can dream to the max?
Chris, pro sandwich artist, amateur spokesperson, rolling.
New Subway delivery. Order only on the Subway app and get special deals. Like $0 delivery fee.
Chris, are you ordering on the Subway app right now?
Maybe?
Ooh, could I get in on that? Eat fresh, refresh. From the top, please. Freshly prepared for your order. Limited time at participating shops. Terms, taxes, and other fees still apply. Cut!
Today is the day for torque. Today is the day for capability. Today is the day to get things done. These are Ram Power Days. Get 0% financing for 60 months with an effective APR of 1.99% on Ram 1500 Classic models. Or select owners can get up to $12,000 in total discounts on most 2022 models. Ram Power Days on now. Hurry, these days are numbered. See your Ram dealer for details.
There is a getaway within your grasp that will exceed your expectations. A luxury lifestyle experience in the heart of Muskoka, where stellar accommodations are surrounded by natural beauty, where you can challenge yourself on one of Canada's top 10 golf courses, with access to a breathtaking array of on-site amenities. Discover Muskoka life in luxury at Muskoka Bay Resort. Book your stay now at muskokabayresort.com. Muskoka Bay Resort is a Freed Hotels and Resorts property.
Think of your minimum balance like an action figure, but not the kind you play with. One that's still sealed away, collecting dust. So much dust. At HSBC Bank, we can put your minimum balance into action in TFSAs, RRSPs, savings, and more. Plus, receive up to $500 when you open an eligible checking account. Apply today at hsbc.ca/action. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome offer expires December 31st, 2022. HSBC Bank, opening up a world of opportunity.
When the game starts, the betting doesn't stop at BetRivers Online Sportsbook and Casino. You'll love BetRivers live and play betting options. Live betting is fast-paced and gives you a chance to pick up some value as the game unfolds. Live betting at BetRivers Online Sportsbook and Casino delivers an exciting sports betting experience. BetRivers.ca. It's a whole new game.
Check BetRivers.ca for full details. 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
So many kinds of cars in just one place, see them all. Your winning numbers, number 7 Auto Mall.
Number 7. Throughout history, number 7 has symbolized good fortune. At number 7 Auto Mall, number 7 still means good fortune without spending a fortune. Come see how shopping at number 7 Auto Mall saves you time and money. Because at number 7, you're number 1. Martin Grove and Highway 7. Of course.
Number 7 Automall.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
CJCL Toronto. This
It's carrying well, and it is gone.
is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swinging on this. He struck him out with a fastball to finish the ball game.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's a battle of the birds. The Orioles soar into town as they look to make their miracle turnaround more than just a nice story. The Jays can clip the O's wings, though, with a couple of victories. Toronto built a lead on Baltimore with a series win earlier in September. They look to replicate that success tonight. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Rogers Center. Appreciate you joining us today. I'm Ben Schulman, paired up with Ben Nicholson-Smith. Show Ali is our in-game host. David Siss is producing, and our technical directors are Tom Young and Brett Armstrong. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Feed your wild side, baseball fans. Following a marathon 5-game series against the Rays, the Blue Jays jump right back into action against another AL East foe. Two young and hungry teams battling in September. Toronto and Baltimore are coming up next on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Every all-star, every slugger, every gold glover, speedster, or ace needs the right fuel to perform. Just like
us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
Ready to pop the question? Let your love sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Their easy online tools will let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her one-of-a-kind engagement ring, the perfect ring to celebrate your love. Right now, go to BlueNile.com and use code RADIO to save $50 on your purchase of $500 or more with guaranteed free shipping and returns.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
This time, obviously, but I think it's, whenever you go in and win a series on the road, it bodes well for the series at home. And, the confidence never wavers with this group, no matter who the opponent is. So it should be another, I think, very exciting, close, hard-fought series.
That was John Schneider after the Blue Jays defeated the Orioles the first time they played them in September. He's looking for another series win starting tonight with Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. It's time to cue up today's starting lineups, brought to you by Timber Mart. Are your home improvement projects throwing you a curveball? Talk to the folks at Timber Mart before you begin your next job. They have the material and know-how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timber Mart, Canada's building center. Ben, who do the Orioles roll out today?
Well, it should be the beginning of a really fun series here in Toronto. They've got Cedric Mullins leading things off in center field. Adley Rutschman, the tremendous rookie catcher for the Orioles, will bat second, followed by Anthony Santander. He's in right field. Ryan Mountcastle will play first base and bat cleanup. Gunnar Henderson, another rookie, another one of these exciting players for the Orioles, will DH today, followed by Ramon Urias at third base. Great glove for him. He'll bat sixth. Rougned Odor will play second base and bat seventh, followed by Austin Hayes in left field, and Jorge Mateo at shortstop with Jordan Lyles on the mound.
Third time that the right-hander Lyles has taken on the Blue Jays this year. Toronto starts off with George Springer playing center field. Vladimir Guerrero bats second and plays first. Batting third, the red-hot Bo Bichette, who's the shortstop. In the cleanup spot, it's DH Teoscar Hernandez. Kevin Biggio bats fifth and plays second base. Matt Chapman at his usual spot in the hot corner, hitting sixth. Raimel Tapia, seventh spot in the lineup, number 7 in the field. He is in left field today. The backstop is Danny Jansen batting eighth, and then Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field rounds out the lineup. On the mound today is Trevor Richards, and we have to admit, both of us a little bit surprised as Richards runs out to the mound that he was the guy that Toronto decided to go with.
Absolutely. After throwing 29 pitches yesterday in the finale of that series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and it wasn't Richards' best outing either, but this time of year, the Blue Jays do not have a starting pitcher who'd be available to them. Mitch White, an option later, but not right now, because he's in AAA and just pitched earlier this week. So at this point, it's going to be a bullpen game. They are going to need all hands on deck, and it's going to start with Trevor Richards, whose changeup the Jays like against some of these Orioles hitters.
We'll see how many pitches he has in him after the 29 yesterday. Expect a lot of Yusei Kikuchi as well. Before we get started, let's take a standings update presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sports book. Toronto opens up this game 6.5 back of the Yankees for the AL East lead, but they are up 5 games on Baltimore and a half game clear of Tampa Bay. Although last series was the one that people said, okay, this is where you can put away the Orioles. Truthfully, they're still in the realm of reality. This feels like the real nail in the coffin series if you can do something big.
100%. And I think for the Orioles, the series is massive because they can close that gap with the Blue Jays in theory to 2 games, which at that point, anything can happen. Now for the Blue Jays, they have a little bit of breathing room because they have played so well in September, going 11-4 in the month so far, despite yesterday's loss. So they could afford to lose this series. Of course, they want to win it. We'll see how everything unfolds here in the next few days. But they really could. If they were to win 2 of 3, or certainly to sweep, the Orioles would be at a big distance at that point.
You mentioned the Blue Jays' September record, 11 wins, most by any team in Major League Baseball in this month. They go for their dozenth victory right now as the leadoff hitter Cedric Mullins steps in. He's got the black-orange jersey for the Orioles, black jersey and orange font, gray pants, Blue Jays going all baby blue. Trevor Richards on the third base side of the rubber with his back white cleat just touching, kicks and delivers. The first pitch is high and outside, ball 1. We're underway at 7:07, cloudy day here at the Rogers Center. 17 Celsius as the next one drops into the zone, and it's 1-1, 63 Fahrenheit. Calling the balls and strikes today is Jeremy Rehak. Mullins, a .265 hitter this year, awaits the 1-1. Fouls it back into the mesh, and it's 1-2. Not quite the year Cedric Mullins had last year. All-star, was one of the best defensive players in baseball, but he's still very dangerous.
He really is, and that's left-handed bat right at the top of the order is one of the reasons that the Jays have Richards on the mound. A lot of lefties and switch hitters coming up. Richards is going to try to neutralize them and ahead so far in the count.
Looking for the strikeout. Here's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Elevated the fastball at 93. Down goes Mullins, and there's 1 out in the top of the first.
Well, it's the first out of 27 the Jays need today. Trevor Richards getting it off to a good start with that fastball up high enough where Mullins was not able to get it. And it's going to be a team effort. It's going to have to be a team effort. Richards getting it off to a good start here.
Now you mentioned the switch hitters. Here they come. Adley Rutschman to the plate now, and Anthony Santander is on deck. Rutschman, the catcher, is one of the best rookies in all of baseball. Here's the pitch. It's outside, 1-0. Richards looking over at first, communicating with Vladdy. Blue Jays are playing the 4-3 defense. So Biggio is out in right field. Shortstop Bichette is basically playing second. The 1-0, breaking ball drops in. And Matt Chapman, who's the third baseman, is really playing it short right now. The 1-1. just a little bit low. Looked like it might have clipped the bottom of the zone, borderline pitch, but Rutschman's ahead. And he's one of the best walkers in all of baseball.
He really is. A .410 on base percentage in the second half. Just a tremendous eye when you think about how young he is.
2-1. Called strike on the corner. Nice fastball by Richards. And that .410 on base percentage, it's not like he's hitting .320. He's hitting in the 250s, and yet he manages to get on base that much. Has been the catalyst to the Orioles' turnaround. 2-2, wave and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball in on the hands. Richards sets down Rutschman. He struck out 2 in a row.
Yeah, just a great start here for Trevor Richards against 2 very good hitters. Adley Rutschman, I mean, you think about the Orioles and the reason that they've surprised. He's really at the center of that, as you said, Ben, to really drive a lot of their success. But right there, Trevor Richards able to get him with what they're calling a changeup below the zone.
And that's what you want when you got a power hitter like Anthony Santander coming up. Nobody aboard, 2 outs, no score, top of the first inning. Santander, the second straight switch hitter who has 27 home runs this season. First pitch, fouled back, 0-1. And he, against the Blue Jays in early September, had a game where he hit a home run from both sides. You don't see that a ton, even with the good switch hitters in baseball.
It's impressive. Yeah, he's definitely showing the Blue Jays what he's capable of.
The 0-1. Popped up behind the plate, foul. It's 0-2. Well, the pitch count of Richards, obviously something we were looking at with 29 thrown yesterday. He's thrown 12 so far, or this will be his 12th to try and end the inning. The 0-2. Popped up behind the plate. That'll drift into the seats again.
Yeah, he's been very efficient, and after throwing 29 for a relief outing, that's on the high end of what you'd see. And I asked John Schneider before the game, what would the threshold have been, for him to not be available today at all? And the answer was closer to 40. That would have put him out of the picture. Instead, he's on the mound and so far doing pretty well.
Richards kicks and delivers. Fastball upstairs. Velocity looks pretty good too. That one nearly 94. He is a guy who has started before, so maybe a little more stamina in his arm than a typical reliever. The 1-2, down low. Although this is more of an open accurately than a start. It is his 3rd start of the season. But in 2018, he started 25 games for the Marlins, and he started another 23 for the Marlins and Rays in 2019. Rogers center getting loud for the first time. The 2-2, cut on and missed. Strike 3. How about that from Trevor Richards? He strikes out the side in order to start this game. No runs, no hits, nobody got aboard. The Blue Jays send up Springer, Guerrero, and Bichette when we return in the bottom of the first of this scoreless game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This game tip is brought to you by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Want to start the wave? Hold a piece of beef jerky above your head. The crowd will think you're sharing and raise their hands to get your attention. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side, baseball fans.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
Ready to pop the question? Let your love sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Their easy online tools will let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her one-of-a-kind engagement ring, the perfect ring to celebrate your love. Right now, go to BlueNile.com and use code RADIO to save $50 on your purchase of $500 or more with guaranteed free shipping and returns.
Cool with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Ben Nicholson-Smith. Blue Jays batting for the first time in a scoreless game. George Springer leads off against righty Jordan Lyles. The Baltimore starter delivers, and the first fastball is tipped back into the glove of Adley Rutschman, 0-1. George hitting 258 with a 786 OPS. Hit his 20th homer last series. The 0-1. Swing and a miss again, 0-2. There were high moments, and then there were a few scary moments for those watching George where he winced once or twice, it appeared, related to the elbow. The 0-2. Breaking ball down low. Springer checks his swing there, and it looked like a little bit uncomfortable perhaps already.
Some of those check swings appear to be causing some discomfort for him. At this point in the season, mid-September, he's clearly willing to go out there, eager to go out there, telling John Schneider he wants to play.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Lyles drove a fastball low and in. And all 4 batters to come up in this game for both teams have struck out so far. 1 down for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy says hey to Adley Rutschman before getting set to go. He's having an interesting 9-game hit streak. He is hitting 300 over that span, but still people feeling like there's more they can get out of Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And without a doubt, we saw it last year. He's definitely capable of being one of the best hitters in baseball, not just, and I say that with quotation marks around it, but not just an all-star level hitter.
The right-on-right pitch. Swing and a miss. Out in front of a breaking ball, 0-1. Yeah, his down year is still 278 average, 825 OPS, on the brink of 30 homers, and if he gets real hot, could hit 100 RBIs.
Yeah.
The 0-1. Line to left field, and it's a foul ball. Just landed on the wrong side of the chalk. Vladdy inches away from a double, and that's been a lot of how this season has felt sometimes.
Another laser, too. 111 off the bat. He just made some great contact there against Jordan Lyles. And, yeah, we've seen flashes of him. I mean, his 100th home run earlier this week here at Rogers Center against the Rays. That wasn't even the hardest hit ball or close to it. But Vladdy sometimes, of course, we've seen it his entire career. But his ability to make hard contact is on a level that few match.
He has the most hard hit balls in the major leagues this year. That's balls hit 95 or harder. The 0-2. Bounce to the plate. Vladdy has 242. The next best is Jose Abreu with 229. And not completely dissimilar players, I think, Vladdy and Jose Abreu. Abreu hitting for better average than Vlad is right now, a little less power, but that's even a bit of a change for him. 1 out, the base is empty, no score. The 1-2 pitch. Just a little bit low. Good take from Vladdy to even up the count. One thing people have pointed to are the ground balls, obviously, but the chase rate seems to be a little bit up for Vladdy.
Yeah, and the walk rate is down, which you don't like to see.
The 2-2 pitch. Grounded left side through and into left field, a base hit. Good start for Guerrero, who takes a big round of first and shuffles back to the bag. Blue Jays have a base runner with 1 out.
And for all of the talk around Vlad Jr., which is justified, by the way, he's an MVP runner-up. There's always going to be talk surrounding his performance, but he comes into today with a 133 OPS plus. That's the same level as Jackie Robinson for his career, Todd Helton for his career. These are great players, and that's the level that Vladdy's at, even though we know that he can do better.
Yeah, he is down, but OPS plus, a stat that normalizes everything. The league is down. All of baseball is down in offense this year. But one guy who's looking up is Bo Bichette. He's at the plate right now with Vladdy on first and one out. No score, bottom of the first. Lyles delivers. It's a fastball inside. You can argue that for the last 3 weeks, Bo Bichette is the hottest hitter in baseball.
Yeah, and that's at a time that Mike Trout has gone on a week-long homer streak, and Aaron Judge has been hitting great, but Bo is right up there.
The 1-0. Bichette fights it off foul down the right field line and into a sea of hands beyond first base. 1-1. Bichette has raised his average to 285. His OPS is second best on the team at 809, only to Vlad. And in September, he's hitting nearly 500. The 1-1. Loop to second on a hop to shortstop Mateo. Over to Odor for one. Back to first. And that's a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Blue Jays get a one-out base hit, but leave nobody on in a scoreless bottom of the first. We're looking for our first run, and we'll see who's on the mound for the Jays when we come back in the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Ready to pop the question? Let your love sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Their easy online tools will let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her one-of-a-kind engagement ring, the perfect ring to celebrate your love. Right now, go to BlueNile.com and use code RADIO to save $50 on your purchase of $500 or more with guaranteed free shipping and returns.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball. Jackson, deep into the night sky, straight away center field, and goodbye. On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
A pitching change for the Blue Jays as we start the second inning. Julian Merriweather is into the game. This pitching change is brought to you by Certainteed, the pro's choice for roofing, siding, drywall, insulation, and ceiling systems. Certainteed, pro all the way. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Ben Nicholson-Smith. Orioles and Blue Jays in a series opener, and Trevor Richards did his job. Now Merriweather takes over in this bullpen game against maybe the toughest test that anyone will see. Ryan Mountcastle at the plate for Baltimore. The right-on-right pitch. Fastball blown by Mountcastle at 98, 0-1. So Richards just pitches that first inning, strikes out the side. By the way, that first inning was brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Merriweather kicks in, delivers, and that pitch is skied to deep left field. Tapia has room. He sticks out his left arm, runs into it, and squeezes it overhead. 1 out. So Richards does his job, and with Kikuchi getting loose, we'll see how far they go with Merriweather, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Yusei Kikuchi between innings was on the mound, looking like someone who's expecting to pitch in this game. And of course, you would expect that Kikuchi gets in at some point. Merriweather out there, I mean, we've seen him go up to a couple of innings. I wouldn't expect more than that from him today. Potentially just the end of this first time through the order, but we'll see how he fares.
He's up against the 5-hitter Gunnar Henderson. The first pitch is a called strike. Henderson's playing his 15th major league game. He still qualifies as the top Orioles prospect, and he's been really good so far. A .320 batting average. The right-on-left pitch is popped up behind third. Long run for Chapman into foul territory. Reaches up and makes the catch. Boy, there's about 3 third basemen in the league that can go from playing in the shift to nearly running to the left field corner. And thankfully for the Blue Jays, Matt Chapman's one of them.
Yeah, just tremendous field awareness and also great speed. He's someone who can move really well. A lot of the time, third base isn't necessarily a position where you think of range as the skill set required. But for Chapman, playing in the shift, he can cover a ton of ground, and he just gets such a good read on the ball that he's able to make that play in stride.
You know where you might need third base range? Oakland, where they have the largest foul territory that you're going to find in the American League. Here's the third baseman for the Orioles, Ramon Urias. The pitch, popped up, foul, first base side. Vladdy settles under it. And how about that from Merriweather? Barely uses any pitches, just 5 to get through the second inning. And with that, the Blue Jays go back to the bats again in the bottom of the second. No score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Ready for the next level? Blue Jays Assemble. Step into the Marvel Universe for Superhero Day at Rogers Center and arrive early to get a Blue Jays Spider-Man figurine. Mission accepted. Cheer on your friendly neighborhood Blue Jays.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Back to the Grubhub spelling bee.
Word is enthusiastic.
Repeat in a sentence, please.
She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic.
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Matchup so far between the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Welcome back with Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. This second inning is brought to you by Miller Lite. Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Blue Jays lead off Teoscar Hernandez against the righty starter Jordan Lyles. Second inning of work for Lyles. He winds and offers. Slider outside, 1-0. Lyles is the veteran of this staff, 31 years old. Is 1-0. Breaking ball low, 2-0. Spent the last 2 seasons with Texas after debuting with Houston back in 2011. And a big reason they got him is to eat innings and ease the tension on the bullpen. The 2-0 pitch. Hit hard, stabbed at third on a dive by Urias. He gets up, throws to first. It's offline, but a catch and tag from Mountcastle. Great play on both sides for the first out.
Yeah, it really was. That was a hard hit ball by Teoscar Hernandez, and Ramon Urias is able to make a diving play to keep that one from going deep into the left field corner. The throw a little bit offline, but then picked up by the first baseman, Mountcastle. And that play, it's a reminder of just how good Urias is, and he's been doing that all year. In the American League, he is first among third basemen with 16 defensive runs saved.
Third in all of baseball, and now he's in near the grass as Kevin Biggio approaches. They're shifting against the lefty swinger. Lyles into the wind. Here's his pitch. It's down and in, ball one. One of the highest spots that Kevin's hit this year is up in the 5 spot. 1-0. Lifted behind third in foul territory. Long run for Urias, and he makes the catch, stumbling to the turf. 2 down. Let's take a check on the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Game on, Canada. Help us celebrate 30 devilishly good years of being your Blue Jays headquarters. Join us for wings, beer, cocktails, and more. We've got all your bases covered. Download our new app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Anything big going on right now?
Well, let's start with the Rays because it felt like they were here for about 2 weeks, 4 days, 5 games, and they are now back home at the Trop playing the Texas Rangers, scoreless in the second inning.
Here against the Orioles, scoreless in the second inning. Bottom of the second, 2 outs. Matt Chapman up. The pitch. Fouled off to the right side. That lands in the third level, and it's 0-1.
I'll throw one more score out there. Right now in Washington, the Marlins are up 4-0. And perhaps more importantly for Blue Jays fans, the Mariners will be at the Angels later tonight.
The 0-1. Inside. Mariners and Blue Jays technically not tied, although they are tied in a way. Win percentage right now, the Mariners have an edge. They've won 1 fewer but lost 1 fewer game. 1-1 pitch taken for a strike at the top of the zone, and it's 1-2. And then the Rays, like you mentioned, in action tonight, and they're a half game back of the Jays.
Yeah, it is very close in those wild card standings. The next few weeks are going to be very interesting to follow for those 3 teams.
The 1-2 outside. The Jays are currently occupying the second wild card, the 5 seed, which I think most people would agree in this situation is probably the worst spot to be in.
Yeah.
With 2 outs, the 2-2, inside again, full count. Because if you're the 6 seed, you get the AL Central opponent, which is likely a weaker team than the Rays or the Mariners, or potentially even the Orioles. And if you're the 4 seed, then you get home field advantage. One team will host all 2 or 3 games of that round. 3-2 pitch, swatted foul behind the plate. Still a full count with 2 outs and the bases empty.
Yeah, I think the order, if you're going to be a wild card team, which of course you want to win the division, but if you're going to be a wild card team, you want 1, and then in this year, you probably prefer 3 over 2.
Long look in from Lyles. His 3-2 pitch. Hit high and deep to left field. Way back and gone. A solo home run for Matt Chapman. And the Blue Jays lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second. A 106-mile-per-hour missile, and Matt Chapman is continuing the success he's already had in his career against Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, he's doing it all today. A nice defensive play earlier tonight, and now a home run that he got all of, sending it into the second deck in left field. He pulled that one right down the line, kept it on the right side of the foul pole, and now the Jays are up 1-0.
5th career home run against Lyles. 4th home run against the Orioles this season. Chapman needed that one. Here's the pitch to Raimel Tapia. It's outside 1-0. Tapia, 261 hitter this year. 6 home runs, 43 RBIs. 1-0. Called strike, backdoor breaking ball, and it's 1-1. So the Blue Jays up 1-0 with nobody on in the bottom of the second. The pitch is inside. The Jays have gotten to Lyles both of the previous times he pitched against them, an ERA near 7, as the 1-1 is chopped back to the mound, and Lyles grabs it and heaves it over to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays score 1, though, on 1 hit. It's Matt Chapman's home run that opens up the scoring in this game. 1-0 Toronto, headed to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
1-0 Blue Jays headed to the third inning at the Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Ben Nicholson-Smith. This third inning is served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Feed your wild side, baseball fans. Toronto jumping in front in the bottom of the second on a Matt Chapman homer. And now everyone's favorite Oriole, Rougned Odor, leads off the inning. It's Odor, Hayes, and Mateo for the O's. Julian Merriweather in his second inning of work. Odor stepped out for a second. It's almost like he wanted to make sure he could really take in the chorus of boos. Now the small left-handed hitter in the box. Here's the pitch. It's called strike 1. Odor, of course, involved in the Texas rivalry with the Blue Jays in 15 and 16. To his credit, when tempers flared up at Camden Yards last time these two teams played, he actually kind of broke it up. The 0-1, check swing tapper foul up the third base line. It's 0-2.
The peacemaker. That's not a role I ever expected to see from a man who once slugged Jose Bautista at second base in Arlington. Of course, that was a while ago now. And Odor continues, though, to haunt the Blue Jays. He hit a big home run against Jimmy Garcia at Camden Yards last month and just finds a way to get under the Blue Jays' skin, it seems.
The 0-2 pitch, high and inside. In fact, each of the last 2 Odor home runs have come against the Blue Jays. He has not had a strong offensive year, a 199 hitter with a 624 OPS, but he has an 837 OPS against Toronto this season. 1-2 pitch, fastball high and outside at 98 from the flamethrower Julian Merriweather. Well, I guess, Odor, when all those things were flaring up in the mid-2010s, he was a young guy. Now he's the veteran of this Orioles team.
Yeah, he really is. It's definitely a big contrast.
The 2-2, fouled off first base side. And Brennan Hyde has talked about his role in the clubhouse with this young team, and that guys gravitate. It's hard to see it if you're coming from the side wearing blue, but on the other side, he's someone that players go to.
Well, and it's a very young team, so there are not a lot of players who have the experience that a Lyles does or that an Odor does.
Julian Merriweather kicks and delivers. Ground ball hit into the shift. In right field, the second baseman, Biggio, gobbles it up, throws to first, and beats Odor by a half step. 1 out.
Jays fans are feisty tonight.
Yeah, even more booing. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if Odor said something. I thought he just walked back to the dugout after he was done. I don't think they were booing Austin Hayes, who's coming up right now. I don't think he's quite gotten under their skin enough yet.
Not yet. But yeah, long memories for Rougned Odor.
One down, and the base is empty. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the third. The first pitch is a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. After Trevor Richards struck out the side in the first, Julian Merriweather looking really good here through his first 4 batters.
He really is efficient. Just 5 pitches in that first inning, up to 98. This is what the Jays want.
The 0-1. Slammed foul right side. It's 0-2. And it seems like a distant memory now. There was a brief point in time before an injury that Merriweather was closing games for this team. Do you think the command is really the step that either makes or breaks him as a dominant pitcher or a struggling pitcher?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say for sure. And today he's looking really sharp.
His pitch is high, and it's 1-2.
I mean, you're not getting through an inning in 5 pitches unless you're attacking the strike zone. So that's a good sign for the Blue Jays. I'll be interested to see how much they push him. His max on the season, 2 innings, 28 pitches. I wonder if he pushes past that today.
Yusei Kikuchi is throwing in the Jays bullpen. The next pitch is inside. We think Kikuchi is going to take up the most innings of anyone out of the pen. But if Merriweather can get through 2, which would mean finishing this half inning, maybe Kikuchi only does 2. I guess it depends on the situation and the score. But right now, Blue Jays up 1-0.
They may prefer Kikuchi against the top of that Orioles lineup as well.
Next pitch, high fastball, check swing, and appeal down to first. Quinn Wilcott, the first base umpire, says no swing. Why do you think they'd like Kikuchi against the guys coming up top of the order?
The lefties, the switch hitters, give them a different look. Richards, of course, is the first one that they faced. They've seen one righty, now bringing a hard-throwing lefty, keep them off balance against the top of that Baltimore batting order.
Right now, the 8th spot is up. Austin Hayes, the 3-2 pitch, popped up foul, and back into the blue seats. It drops just in front of the second deck. Bullpen day today. Jose Barrios tomorrow. Alek Manoah in the series finale, which will be the second straight series finale against the Orioles, where Manoah is the starter. He locked up the series win at Camden Yards. The pitch is down and away. Ball 4. Went with a breaking ball, and Hayes is the first Orioles base runner today. Wasn't going to be a bullpen perfect game.
No. I'm not sure if there's ever been one of those in Major League history.
I lean no, but I'd be lying if I told you I knew that for sure.
In fact, I am sure. There's no way. There's no way.
Jorge Mateo up to the plate, the 9-hitter and shortstop for the Orioles. Defense first shortstop. Approaches with a runner on first and 1 out. 1-0 Jays, top of the third. The pitch. Breaking ball, low and away, 1-0. Mateo's a .222 hitter. Only gets on base 27% of the time, yet has one of the higher WARs among shortstops in baseball. 1-0. Fastball, just low and away.
Yeah, really good defensive skill set there, and the speed is incredible. I mean, one of 2 players, along with Mullins, to have 30 stolen bases on this Orioles team. That's pretty remarkable in today's game to have 2 30 stolen base guys.
Hasn't happened since the 2018 Royals. The 2-0. Fastball strike. One of those 2018 Royals was at Alberto Mondesi, the son of former Blue Jay Raul Mondesi. And the other one is current Blue Jay Whit Merrifield. They both stole 30 bases for the 2018 Royals. 2-1 count against the speedy Mateo. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. This could be 2. Biggio steps on the bag for 1. Throws over to first. Double play. Biggio and Guerrero roll it to erase that 1-out walk. The Blue Jays pitching has faced the minimum through 3 innings. Going to the bottom of the third, it's 1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Ready to improve your bottom line? The Room can match you with a top financial analyst. Trusted by small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs, The Room's virtual financial analysts are highly trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Drive business growth with a virtual financial analyst from The Room. It's like listening to all the financial programs rolled into one. Get started today at trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Government of Ontario.
A full season of a real home field advantage. Ball game! And you can add to that advantage. This is Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Welcome back to the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. To my left, Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the third. Danny Jansen, Jackie Bradley Jr., and George Springer. 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays in this inning. Jordan Lyles on the bump for Baltimore. His pitch is called strike one, a fastball that clips the bottom of the zone. 0-1. Jansen had the day off yesterday. Gabriel Moreno was catching. The 0-1. Popped up behind first, foul territory, and Mountcastle just has eyes in the sky as he watches that one fall into the seats. 0-2. Danny taps the front of both of his feet, and now one touch of the plate before pinwheeling the bat. He's down 0-2 to start this bottom of the third. Lyles into the wind, his offering. Bounce to the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Lyles has made 2 mistakes in this game, one little one, one big one. He gave up a 1-out single to Vlad in the first, wasn't consequential, but then Matt Chapman homered in the second. The 1-2 pitch. Driven down the left field line, fair ball rolling into the corner. Jansen rounds first. He's headed for second. He'll get there standing. It's a leadoff double.
Jansen saw a slider he liked and made some very good contact with it down the left field line. And this for the Blue Jays is the advantage of having the catching depth that they do, because Alejandro Kirk still on the sidelines dealing with some hip tightness. Jansen in the starting lineup, you have absolutely no doubt about his ability to contribute and make some hard contact, especially to the pull side as he did right there.
Speaking of, we'll get your injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers, your cleanup hitters. Visit bplawyers.ca. The first pitch to Jackie Bradley Jr. is low and in. 1-0, runner on second, nobody out. What's going on with the Jays?
Well, let's start with Kirk because he is the most important Blue Jay currently to be on the sidelines.
The 1-0. Breaking ball drops in. 1-1.
And Kirk is not in the lineup today, and he's potentially available. The Blue Jays haven't said exactly, but clearly they'd prefer to get him some rest as he deals with some left hip tightness. He has, though, resumed some baseball activities, hitting and throwing.
Just no running for Kirk. 1-1. Swing and a foul back, a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's actually pretty similar to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and where he's at as he recovers from a left hamstring injury that has him on the injured list. He's technically eligible to come back on Sunday, and he too has resumed some throwing and some hitting. Still hasn't started running. So we'll see. The Jays might play it out through the weekend, but Lourdes making progress as well.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A curveball that fools Jackie Bradley. And there's the first out of the bottom of the third. John Schneider didn't rule out the idea of Lourdes coming back when his IL stint is done on Sunday, but he did seem to be a lot more optimistic about Tuesday with the fact that they have an off day Monday.
Yeah, those off days can factor into decisions around injuries, of course, because if you have one coming up, maybe you just say, let's give him 2 extra days instead of potentially rushing things. So we'll see how Lourdes progresses, but they have a couple options.
First pitch to George Springer is lifted down the right field line, not very deep. Santander into foul territory, leaps into the netting. He does not make the catch. That is a foul ball as it caroms back onto the field.
Well, that's a great effort by Santander and a really tough play. I imagine it's especially tough for a visiting player, even though the Orioles come here a lot. But those foul lines, every stadium has a different configuration. And the netting, too, was a factor for Santander as he was chasing that one.
I guess you can probably jump with a little more reckless abandon into the netting, but the ball hits on it sometimes where, like a Josh Donaldson leaping into the stands in 2015 or 2016 maybe in Tampa Bay, you don't have as much room to go into the out-of-bounds area as you previously did. Runner on second, 1 out, 1-0 Jays. Here's the 0-1. Inside. We saw Springer testing out that elbow a little bit in his first plate appearance. He is wearing an elbow brace, and I would assume probably will continue wearing it throughout the year, it seems. Springer has driven in 60 runs this year. He has Danny Jansen on second. The pitch is slammed to center field. Mullins going back on the track. He has room, and he makes the catch. Jansen tags from second, heads to third, standing. Springer nearly hit it out, but fell about 10 feet short. 2 down.
Great contact there from George Springer. We did see a home run from him recently, but the power has certainly been a little less than what we would normally see from Springer in the course of August and now September, as he has been dealing with elbow soreness, an elbow issue, the specifics of which we don't exactly know, but made very good contact right there, and some nice base running too by Danny Jansen, who read that play well, tagged up, and made it to third base.
And now he surely would score on a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. base hit, and maybe is a threat if the ball gets away, although it is one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, the rookie Adley Rutschman behind the plate for the Orioles. Even younger than him, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is up right now for Toronto. 2 outs, runner on third. The right-on-right pitch. Taken for a strike on the outer edge. Vladdy does not love it. It's 0-1. Looking over to the Apple TV monitor, I mean, that appeared at least a full baseball below their virtual strike zone, if not more than that. The 0-1. Guerrero chops it to short. Slow roller into the glove of Mateo, who crow hops and throws. Dug out of the dirt by Mountcastle to end the inning. Danny Jansen with a leadoff double, but he is stranded. The Blue Jays still lead 1-0 after 3. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
On a line towards Bichette. Leaping grab made by Bo. 2 outs in the ninth.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Yusei Kikuchi enters the game as we begin the fourth at the Rogers Center. This pitching change brought to you by Certainteed Pro All the Way. I'm Ben Schulman with Ben Nicholson-Smith to my left. Kikuchi on after the bullpen day has started out really well. 9 up, and technically not 9 down, but a walk erased by a double play. Now they hand it to the left-hander.
Yeah, great job by Trevor Richards after throwing 29 pitches. Julian Merriweather effective for 2 innings. And now it's Kikuchi, who last pitched on the Blue Jays road trip. That was back 5 days ago on September 11th. He pitched 2 innings, allowed a couple of earned runs, walked a batter, allowed 4 hits, including a home run. It's been a challenge for Yusei Kikuchi all year. He continues searching for his best stuff and best results.
He threw 43 pitches in that outing, now making his 28th appearance of the year, mid-5s ERA. He'll do it against the top of the order. Left-handed hitter Cedric Mullins leads off, then Adley Rutschman, then Anthony Santander, a pair of switch hitters. Kikuchi tucks the ball into his tan glove, first base side of the rubber. He kicks and delivers. Breaking ball away, 1-0. Matt Chapman in, wary of the bunt from Mullins. Cedric struck out in the first. All 3 batters due up this inning struck out in the first. The 1-0. Breaking ball low and away again. This fourth inning is presented by Bet365. Just download the app and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's favorite sports book. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Two-0 pitch. Fastball, strike 1. Make it the slider, actually, from Kikuchi. That seems to be his best command pitch.
Yeah, we've seen that at times with the cutter earlier in the year. He'll find the plate more often with that pitch. Now it's the slider. Hard to predict sometimes.
Down 2-0. He needed a strike. Here's his 2-1. It's swung on and missed. 2-2. Goes back to the slider, a little bit lower and more inside.
If it's working, nothing wrong with going back to that pitch. I mean, this is a pitcher who has had trouble finding the zone, especially sometimes with that first batter.
Mullins leading off this fourth. The 2-2 poked down the left field line. That is slicing, and it is about 10 rows up. Third base side foul, still 2-2. Every pitch he's thrown so far has been a slider. 5 pitches, 5 sliders for Yusei Kikuchi. Fastball command has been one of the main issues that's hampered him this year after being an all-star last season. 2-2, ripped to right center field. That's down in the gap and rolling toward the track. Springer picks it up near the wall. Mullins round second. He's headed for third. The relay throw will not even come. Cedric Mullins with a triple to start the fourth inning. The first hit for the Orioles.
Incredible speed there by Cedric Mullins. I mean, that ball ended up dying on the track in right center field there. So Springer had to run over and retrieve it. Basically a perfect ball to push for a triple on, and he had a full edge, incredible speed to create a huge gap there and prevent the Blue Jays from even attempting to throw him out.
Third triple of the season for Mullins, and now the Blue Jays 1-0 lead in jeopardy. The infield is in against Adley Rutschman. Switch hitter turns around to bat right. He was batting left-handed when he struck out in the first. Kikuchi stays in the set. 3 infielders on the third base side of the infield. The pitch. Called strike one. Another slider dots the bottom of the zone. Nobody out and a runner on third. And with the hitters coming up, Rutschman, Santander, Mountcastle, it would be a miracle to keep this 1-0 lead.
It really would.
The 0-1. Bounce. Good block from Jansen.
And this is where it's such a difference between what might happen in the playoffs if the Blue Jays do get there and what you see in the regular season. Because a game like this just wouldn't happen in the playoffs. You have off days. You're going to be using your big four starting pitchers, and you're not going to have days where it's a bullpen game and Kikuchi. But here in the regular season, they need Yusei Kikuchi today.
He kicks and delivers and misses just off the plate outside. 2 balls and a strike. With a couple off days going forward, there may only need to be 2 more days where it's either 5-starter, Kikuchi or White, or a bullpen day. Depends on how the Jays want to manipulate their rotation. They have more freedom if they can beat the Orioles in this series. The 2-1. Fastball low. 3-1.
And Mitch White threw 6 innings out of the bullpen earlier this week. It's very likely that he would be the guy to pitch if and when the Blue Jays do need 5th starters toward the end of this month. But today is that one day where they need this bullpen to come through for them.
Kikuchi offers, and it is swatted foul right side. So we'll do it again at 3-2. The good news for Yusei is Adley Rutschman is a much better hitter from the left side than he is from the right side. This season, he's hit 158 as a right-handed hitter. Payoff pitch. Golfed foul up the third base line. It skipped off the top of the netting and floated into the seats. Kikuchi still searching for his first out. Runner on third, nobody out in the top of the fourth. 1-0 Jays. The southpaw delivers. Hard hit ball to left field. Tapia twisting back at the wall, looks up. That ball is gone. A 2-run home run from Adley Rutschman. And 2 batters into Kikuchi's appearance, the Orioles have taken the lead.
That is a very big moment for Adley Rutschman here on the road with his team down, hitting from his weaker side of the plate, and he hits one into the Blue Jays bullpen. That is a very impressive at-bat from an extremely impressive young hitter as he dons the Orioles' celebratory necklace there. And on the Blue Jays side of it, I mean, Yusei Kikuchi, they need him, and all season long he has not been able to deliver when they need him.
A triple and a home run to start this inning. For Rutschman, he hit his first ever home run here. Now he hits his 11th home run of the season. Anthony Santander is up. The pitch. Called strike one, a fastball on the outer third. So the Orioles have stormed back here in the top of the fourth. Santander, the home run leader on this Orioles team with 27. That's the most he's hit in a single season in his career. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Kikuchi pulled the string. Change up below the zone. It's 0-2. He doesn't use his changeup a ton, but he has used it now 2 batters in a row. Once to Rutschman and once there to Santander. 0-2 pitch. Fastball outside at 96. Blue Jays had not allowed a hit through the first 3 innings, split between Trevor Richards and Julian Merriweather. 2 extra base hits for the O's to start this inning. The 1-2 is low.
Has to be very frustrating for Pete Walker, for John Schneider. They've worked all season with Kikuchi, and of course it's immensely frustrating for Kikuchi as well. Just has not been able to find that rhythm and consistently get results for the Jays.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Backswing hits Jansen. Santander apologizes. Kikuchi's 94-mile-per-hour fastball beats him, and there's 1 down.
And yet, it's a one-run deficit, and this is one of the best offenses in baseball. I mean, the Jays are very much in this. They need Kikuchi to keep it somewhat close, couple innings. Then maybe you go Phelps. You've got the back-end relievers that certainly were not needed yesterday when the Blue Jays were blown out by the Rays in the finale there. So it's an extremely close game and a meaningful game, and they need him to continue what he just did.
First pitch to Mountcastle, grounded up the middle. The second baseman, Biggio, shuffles, throws to first. 2 down. Obviously, things not starting well this inning, but they somewhat need to stick with Kikuchi for a certain number of innings.
Yeah, I think 2 innings, 3 innings, that's probably what you're looking at if they were ahead and you're getting into the later innings. Of course, you go to Bass and Meza, Jimmy Garcia, Jordan Romano. And then if you're losing, you figure it out from there. But, yeah, I think they need 2 or 3 innings from him.
He's gone through 2/3 of an inning, given up 2 hits and 2 runs. It's 2-1 Baltimore on the Rutschman 2-run homer. Here's the pitch to Gunnar Henderson. Called strike 1. Dropped a slider on the inside corner. It's a left-on-left matchup for Kikuchi. Base is empty, 2 outs. Kikuchi kicks and offers, and it's called strike 2 with a fastball. Henderson, the DH today. He can play 3 of the 4 infield positions, second, short, and third. The 0-2. Slider, froze him, strike 3. Kikuchi sets down Henderson, and after giving up the 2 hits and 2 runs, goes 1-2-3 from there. Baltimore takes the lead, though. It's 2-1 Orioles. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Baseball. America's game.
Of the most dramatic moments in the history of sports.
It's about connection.
It makes the fans up against the wall.
And now, with Apple TV Plus, Friday Night Baseball comes home.
Is this happening? It is.
Friday Night Baseball, streaming on Apple TV Plus.
Welcome back to the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Ben Nicholson-Smith. At the plate, Bo Bichette leading off for the Blue Jays against Baltimore starter Jordan Lyles. Right on right pitch. Breaking ball drops into the zone at 79 miles per hour. It's 0-1. Bo is 0 for 1 today, grounded into a double play, but still hitting near 500 this month. The 0-1, cut and a miss, 0-2. Bo has talked about going back to himself, kind of blocking out what he thinks a perfect hitter should be or what others think a perfect hitter should be. What do you think that means for Bo?
Well, I think we've seen it where in the last couple of weeks,
0-2, fouled off, right side, top shelf of the netting.
Bo Bichette hasn't tried to turn himself into Mike Trout. He is just Bo Bichette. And so that means he's going to swing a lot. He is going to take fastballs the other way. He's going to foul a lot of pitches off, as we just saw right there. And the results have been incredible. It's been the best version of Bo Bichette possible.
0-2 again. Bounce to the plate. I saw a story about Bichette when he first got to the Blue Jays organization, and John Schneider, obviously at that point, is working more with minor leaguers. Bo was taking a huge leg kick when they were practicing 2-strike pitches, and Schneider was confused. Here's the 0-2. It's ripped sharply to third, picked up by Urias off the ground. He throws to first. 1 out. Basically, the long story short is they said to Bo, are you sure you want to be selling out that much with 2 strikes? And he just said, look, if I'm going to hit homers, if I'm going to hit the ball hard, I have to sell out like this. And that's kind of the story of Bo Bichette as a hitter.
Yeah, he's really unafraid of swinging big, and sometimes that will lead to big swings and misses, and sometimes it will lead to the kind of swings and the kind of hard contact we've seen throughout the month of September, and really for the entire second half. Bo Bichette's been a really excellent offensive player, so he's not afraid to go up there and take a silly-looking swing.
The pitch to Teoscar Hernandez, line to center field. Mullins in, and a shoestring backhanded catch to take a base hit away from Teoscar. 2 down. And again on Bo, 7 home runs this month. You have to swing hard and put yourself out there, for lack of a better word, to do it. That's 1 more home run this month than Aaron Judge.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. And Aaron Judge is having one of the best power hitting seasons of all time. And a lot of that has come in the second half for him. So, yeah, incredible to see. Also fascinated by Judge and the Yankees as he pushes for the all-time American League home run record. But for Bo to be ahead, that says a lot.
Yankees in action in Milwaukee. The first pitch to Kevin Biggio, called strike 1. 2 outs and the base is empty. 2-1 lead for Baltimore. All 3 runs in this game have been scored on homers. The 0-1. Breaking ball, called strike 2. Lyles was the pitcher who gave up the most homers in the American League last year. Although perhaps the fact that they moved the left field wall back 20 feet at Camden Yards has helped him. 0-2 away.
It certainly seems to have helped. You look at the ERA coming into his start today, 5.38 on the road and 3.77 at home. So that's a very big difference.
And that's what the Orioles want to do. They want to attract more pitching, neutralize power right-handed hitting. The 1-2 popped up third base side, foul territory, converging Rutschman, Urias, and Lyles. Lyles slides and it drops down. Wow, you don't see that very often. Maybe his teammate Brett Phillips, if he was pitching, would pull a slide like that. But that was Lyles selling out for the pop-up.
You rarely see pitchers go after pop-ups that are hit right to them, let alone down the foul line. That's a great effort by Lyles. In hindsight, Rutschman and Urias probably had better lines to that ball. You probably don't want your starting pitcher just going full out toward the camera bay. Ultimately, it falls in. Kevin Biggio gets another shot right here as Lyles takes a little breather, understandably.
Urias, the third baseman, I don't know how much he saw Lyles. He gave him a look after the play like, what are you doing here? Don't run all the way over to the netting to try and catch a pop-up in foul territory. But Lyles, a vet on this team, leading by example and helping the Orioles lead in the game. 2 outs, base is empty. Lyles in the windup. Odor tying his shoes at second, and the pitch is delivered inside 2-2. Boy, I don't know that Lyles knew what was going on there with Odor, who didn't have his glove on when the ball was released.
I wondered if Odor was just giving him a breather.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Curveball on the inner half gets Biggio to end the inning. A 1-2-3 frame for Jordan Lyles. He and the Orioles are up 2-1 after 4. We head to the 5th when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from the room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Food and drink. This lineup has some serious big stick energy. The Toronto Blue Jays live here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Time for the fifth inning from Rogers Center, presented by Bet365. Bet365 is the world's favorite sportsbook with 63 million members worldwide. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. I'm Ben Schulman. Ben Nicholson-Smith is to my left. It's 2-1 for Baltimore over Toronto. Yusei Kikuchi back out for his second inning of work. Ramon Urias, Rougned Odor, and Austin Hayes to bat for Baltimore. Kikuchi got through the fourth in 22 pitches, allowed 2 hits and 2 runs. Starts with the right-handed hitter, Urias. Southpaw's pitch. Called strike. Slider at the bottom part of the zone. 0-1. Kikuchi did settle down after giving up the home run. Struck out 2, retired 3 in a row in the fourth. The 0-1 pitch. Outside 1-1. You think at a minimum they want him to continue and finish this inning, potentially even one more.
I think ideally you'd love to get him through the 6th inning and keep the score close where it is.
2 1-0s. Blue Jays have won 4 out of the last 5 against the Orioles. But in this ballpark, the Orioles are 4-3 against the Blue Jays. Pitch. Inside. 2-1.
Some of those head-to-head records are potentially significant too, because they can be tiebreakers should there end up being a tie in the standings at the end of the year. The Rays right now have that edge over the Blue Jays in their head-to-head matchup with still 4 games to go with the Trop next weekend.
As do the Mariners, who swept the Jays at one point this year. 2-1, ground ball foul, 2-2. So the Blue Jays, if they're going to secure that 4 seed or that number 1 wildcard seed, they're just going to outright have to have the best record. They can still flip their Rays tiebreaker.
Yes.
It would take a series win at the Trop in a 4-game set, though, which is one of the tougher things to do in baseball.
You don't want to count on that.
2-2. Inside, ball 3. Urias taking his time outside the box. His brother Luis is a third baseman for the Brewers. Three-two pitch. Smacked down the left field line. Foul. Still 3-2. We'll take a look at some of the games going on, including the Brewers, who are hosting the Yankees for a 3-game set. We'll have the out-of-town scoreboard following Ramon Urias' at-bat. He checked on the barrel for a second, now fastens his back right foot into the box. A check swing, and he asks for time. Well, this kind of stuff won't happen next year. With the 20-second pitch clock, you could have thrown about 3 pitches by now.
Yeah, this game has some good pace to it.
The pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. A fastball that perhaps just touched the bottom of the zone. Urias is upset. He walked 3-4 steps down the line before being rung up. Brandon Hyde to the top step as well, giving Jeremy Rehak a piece of his mind. And that's borderline, but they're not booing the call. It's Rougned Odor coming to the plate right now.
That's right. Yeah, that pitch to me looked a little low. Looked like the Jays got a call right there. Urias certainly thought so. He showed off his vertical in frustration, jumping up after he learned that he had been called out on strikes.
Yeah, appeared to just go under the strike zone. Here's Rougned Odor with 1 out, bases empty. The pitch, inside, ball 1. Time for the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. First, the 1-0 pitch from Kikuchi. From the first base side of the rubber, he kicks and delivers. Slider, ball 2. What's going on, Ben?
Well, let's start at the top. The Texas Rangers are up 4-2 over the Rays. That's good news for Jays fans. Later tonight, the Mariners, their other primary rival in the wild card, will be in Anaheim against the Angels with Robbie Ray on the mound. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And you mentioned the Yankees as well. They are now scoreless in Milwaukee against the Brewers.
The 2-0. Soft grounder to first. Backhanded by Vladdy. He turns toward the bag, flips to Kikuchi. One-handed catch and stomp on the bag. There are 2 down. It's a long shot for the Blue Jays to come back on the Yankees with fewer than 20 games left. Down 6.5 as we start play tonight. But the Brewers are one of their tougher series remaining. They would need to gain some ground, presumably now.
It has to start now. I think for the Jays, there's really no time to waste when it comes to potentially making ground up on the Yankees. You have to imagine that, the last time I checked the odds, it was 4% in that range for the Blue Jays to win the American League East. That's not nothing. So you got to push, and you have to see if you can. That's where these games for the Jays are significant on a few levels at this point in September.
You're saying there's a chance. Here's Austin Hayes to the plate for Baltimore. They're shifting him to the third base side. The pitch. Called strike 1. Kikuchi settling in. That slider nabs the outside corner. Left-hander Yusei Kikuchi has retired 5 batters in a row. It is 2-1 Baltimore off a home run that he allowed, but he has cruised so far in the top of the 5th. The 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Watch on City TV for full coverage of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, hosted by Lisa LaFlemme, Monday morning starting at 5 a.m. Right-handed hitter Hayes awaits a 1-1. Swings and fouls it back, 1-2. Anything else notable going on around the majors?
Yeah, Justin Verlander is back right now from his calf injury that sidelined him for a few weeks. He is facing the Houston Astros, and that game is scoreless as well, which suggests that Verlander is off to a good start.
Great to see one of the game's best back. Probably still the favorite for the AL Cy Young Award, sub-2 ERA.
I think he has to be. McClanahan looked great yesterday. He is in that mix. Dylan Cease, of course, as well.
But Verlander, along with maybe having the best numbers, is also the best story. And that feels like it locks it up. Next pitch from Kikuchi in the dirt. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think, you just look at the career that he's had. You look at what he's doing this year, the comeback story, the ERA, the peripherals. And I don't vote for Cy Young, so I'm not telling any tales out of school here. But, and tonight, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts already. It's incredible to see what he's doing. Max Scherzer as well, pushing toward 40. Those guys are as good as they've ever been.
The left-hander Kikuchi in the set. 2 outs. The 2-2. Slider inside. Full count. You never would have guessed that in his 40s as a Houston Astro, Justin Verlander might put together the best year of his career.
It's amazing what he's doing, and they're going to need him in the playoffs too. Of course, Framber Valdez. They have a very, very talented team featuring a very talented starting rotation, but Verlander's at the center of that.
3-2 pitch. Fastball, froze him, strike three. Again at the bottom of the zone. Kikuchi has struck out 4 of the last 6, and he has a 1-2-3, top of the 5th. Blue Jays still trail by 1. Matt Chapman leads off when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
airfrance.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 have gone into the glove for Alec Manoah, who's been brilliant through 8 shutout innings.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Jordan Lyles, the starter for Baltimore, trying to protect a Baltimore 2-1 lead. Here's his pitch to Matt Chapman. First pitch breaking ball is low and away, 1-0. Chapman has scored the only Blue Jay run today, a solo home run in the second. The 1-0. Breaking ball, strike one. With Ben Nicholson-Smith, I'm Ben Schulman. Toronto hasn't done a ton offensively, really, since that home run.
They really haven't.
The 1-1. Inside.
And that was the first home run for Matt Chapman since August 20th. It had been a while since he connected, almost a month between home runs.
26th of the year. The pitch fouled off the mask of Adley Rutschman, the catcher. 2-2. 26 homers, second on the team. Vladdy with 28. But yeah, Chapman, I mean, he was as good as anyone 2 months ago, but had some struggles in the month of August, hit below 200, although had a lot of power. And then so far in September has not put it back together yet. 2-2 in the dirt. But perhaps this is the start of a hot stretch.
And it certainly could be. He made some great contact earlier, but even if this is where he stays, 771 OPS and great defense, that's great.
3-2. Hit hard to left field. It has Hayes on the run. That ball is down. Cut off on the track. Chapman will have to settle for a very hard single, but that's the first base hit since the third. And Toronto with a leadoff base runner.
Maybe this is the start of something for Matt Chapman. Some great contact right there. Hayes was playing deep, so he was able to get in front of that ball instead of letting it get to the wall. Chapman wisely holds up, stays at first base, and now it's up to the bottom of the Blue Jays order here to see if they can do something with this leadoff runner.
For Chapman, it was his second ball hit 100 miles per hour or harder. That one 102 off the bat. Toronto did have a leadoff base runner in the third, a Danny Jansen double, and stranded him. They're trying to tie it right now. The fans getting into it with Raimel Tapia. The pitch. Tapia takes in the dirt. Rutschman scrambles behind him to get on the ball. 1-0. Sometimes Tapia is shifted on, but not in this case. They're playing him almost as straight up as you're going to see in the majors these days. Still maybe slightly to pull. Chapman leaning towards second. He's the runner on first. Throw over. He stepped the wrong way, but dove back in time. Lyles kind of lobbed that over. If he didn't, Chapman might have been in trouble.
You had him picked off with with your observation there. He was leaning towards second base. Lyles was a little slow to the bag there, but clearly they have their eye on Matt Chapman right now.
He's only attempted 4 stolen bases this year. He's 2 for 4. Maybe that was attempt number 5 coming had the throw not gone over. Lyles now looking over his left shoulder again. His attention turns toward the plate. Tapia ahead in the count, 1-0. Lyles in the set. Throws over again. This time Chapman more than ready for it. He walks back to the bag. Well, we mentioned them a little bit earlier. Once those pace of play rules come in, the fans may not be booing as much because that will be the last free pickoff that Lyles can take. If he were to throw over again under the new rules and not retire Chapman, it's a balk. 1-0. High and outside. What do you think of the rules?
Well, I really think that the pickoff restrictions combined with the bigger bases will just make stolen bases more appealing. I think teams will be incentivized to push for more stolen bases. I think it's going to be great. I love seeing stolen base attempts. Whether they succeed or not, it's still entertaining.
I think you could argue it's the most exciting play in baseball. The pitch to Tapia is low. He's ahead 3 balls, no strikes. I agree with you. Anything that can increase stolen bases in my mind is a good thing for the game of baseball.
It's more action. I never have heard a fan say, I love that baseball game, except for there were too many stolen bases. Like people like steals. They're fun. They add to offense.
3-0. Called strike. Tapia taken all the way. And most generations had one or a couple iconic base stealers. Obviously, Ricky Henderson. Even more recently, Billy Hamilton, in a way, was an iconic base stealer. But there hasn't been one in a while because no one wants to steal bases anymore. 3-1 pitch. Check swing on a ball up and in, ball 4. Chapman up to second. Tapia at first. Nobody out for Danny Jansen. And just on stolen bases, I think back to when Rajay Davis was a Blue Jay, and he wasn't Ricky Henderson or anything, but there was a thought that he could run at any time he was on base, and that had everyone more locked into the game.
It's so much fun to watch those guys do their thing. Shannon Stewart, of course, a great Blue Jays base stealer from, I guess, 20, 25 years ago now. But really, it is a logical move in today's game, the way the rules are currently constructed, to be very cautious with the amount of stolen bases you attempt. You don't want to be reckless. You cannot give away outs, especially in close games like this one. You have to be really reserved. And so a lot of the time that means that even fast runners will stay station to station. And I think these new rules will be a great step for baseball.
I think so too. Right now, though, the Blue Jays looking for power more than speed. 2 on, nobody out. They trail by a run, and Danny Jansen is coming up, who doubled in his only at-bat today in the 3rd. A mound visit there, but now Jordan Lyles, the starter, back on the bump. Righty Jake Reed is warming up for Baltimore. Here's the pitch. Jansen takes his strike, couldn't get the hands going against the 78-mile-per-hour curve. 0-1. Danny's driven in 33, 12 homers this year, fewer than 60 games. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, down to a knee, and it's 0-2. Although he hasn't been the healthiest he's been in his career, this has been one of Danny Jansen's premier offensive seasons.
Yeah, it has, especially from a power standpoint, to really lock in on pulling the ball with some loft to left field. It's been really effective for him overall with an OPS over 800.
0-2, smack to center, sinking, but caught by the speedy center fielder Mullins. He hauled it in chest high and quickly fired it back into the infield to keep the runners at first and second. That's the first out here in the bottom of the fifth.
Solid contact right there from Danny Jansen, but hit it in the wrong spot. And this is a huge chance for the Jays, needless to say. You don't know how many of these you're going to get in a game like this. They've kept it reasonably close so far. I mean, despite the Kikuchi home run that he allowed to Adley Rutschman, this combined effort has only allowed 2 runs in 5 innings to Baltimore. This is a game that the Jays are in with a couple runners on base right here.
Jackie Bradley Jr. to the plate. Right on left pitch. Nope, fooled me as he spins around and takes a look at second. No throw. But Matt Chapman all in the head right now of Jordan Lyles with 1 out and the Orioles up 1. Bradley yet to hit a homer as a Blue Jay. 3 this year with Boston. The pitch is slammed into the dirt and off the right leg of Rutschman, foul. 0-1. Another reason this is a big spot, that Baltimore bullpen, one of the best that you're going to find in the American League. It's been a huge key to their turnaround.
Absolutely. Anchored by Felix Bautista. He's been tremendous. The Orioles gave him a little bit of a rest period after pitching a couple innings, but he's been back and available for more than an inning if needed, according to Brandon Hyde.
Had a 6-out save against the Blue Jays in the 4-game set. 0-1, breaks down and in.
And Hyde said that he probably wouldn't do that again, just given how much stress that can put on a pitcher's arm. But if he needed him for 4 outs or 5 outs, that's a possibility for Baltimore.
Lyles, the starter, peaks at second twice, his 1-1. Swing and a miss. Had Bradley Jr. out in front of the curve. 1-2. Top of the order is on deck. This could be it for Jordan Lyles, who gave up a single and a walk to start the inning, produced a line out after that, trying to keep the 2-1 Oriole advantage. His pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Curveball down and in, fans Bradley. And that's the 4th strikeout today for Jordan Lyles. George Springer coming to the plate, and it looks like they'll remain with Jordan Lyles on the mound.
Well, he's certainly taken up his share of innings this year for Baltimore with 156 entering play today. He's obviously added on to that this evening, but he's really been the one guy that they have relied on the most for innings pitched and to keep their bullpen resting to the extent that that's possible.
For the Blue Jays, they've relied a lot on the veteran leadership of George Springer. At the plate with 2 on and 2 outs. The pitch, inside, ball 1. Springer threw the home run monkey off his back on Wednesday, hit his first in 15 games. That was his 20th homer of the year. He's driven in 60 in 118 games. The 1-0. Breaking ball high, 2 balls and no strikes. And this is exactly where you want George Springer. Ahead in the count here in the 5th inning. Blue Jays scored their lone run off a Chapman homer. Chapman's on second, Tapia on first. The 2-0. Chopped foul up the third base line. No secret, the Blue Jays have struggled at times this year with runners in scoring position. Relatively, Springer has done pretty well, a 768 OPS. The 2-1 pitch, and he fights that one off. A foul ball popped up to the right side and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, big moment here for Springer, a big moment for the Blue Jays in this game as they try to come back. And Springer certainly no stranger to everything that comes along with these situations.
2017 World Series champion. Slightly arches his front foot. The 2-2, high ball 3. And even if he can't hit in the next run, if he can get aboard, the big boy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is on deck.
Well, and this is where this situation puts a lot of pressure on Jordan Lyles to throw one over the plate, and everybody knows that, including George Springer.
2 outs, 2 on, 2-1 Baltimore, bottom of the 5th. The payoff pitch, runners leap, Springer jacks it to left, Hayes going back, that ball is gone! With his right arm in the air, George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again. Number 21 on the season, and he made no mistake. Just matched that ball to left center field.
There it is, George Springer. I mean, that is why you go out and sign him. He is not at his best physically, has not been at his best physically for at least a couple of months. But here with the Blue Jays trailing by a run against a team that is pushing up against them in the standings, Springer is able to deliver a 3-run go-ahead home run. I mean, that's a huge moment right there.
Pitch to Vladdy, cut and a miss, 0-1. So now with 2 outs and the bases empty, it's 4-2 Blue Jays. All 6 total runs in this game have come from homers. A solo shot from Chapman, then Adley Rutschman responds with a 2-run homer, then George Springer one-ups him with a 3-run homer, and Vladdy grounds that one foul, 0-2.
Well, and this really makes things interesting from this point on, because for the Jays, they've gotten through 5 innings with Richards, Merriweather, Kikuchi. And at this point, they've got a 2-run lead. They got to get through 4 more. So we see Tim Meza up in the bullpen. This is a game the Jays are going to push hard to see in the win.
0-2 in the dirt.
And, I mean, if that goes without saying, they're trying to win from the first inning on. But what I mean is, in the first inning, they're trying to finesse things. They're trying to keep it close. And now the game switches from keep it close to preserve the lead, that the Jays now have a 2-run advantage over Baltimore.
Trying to extend their 5-game lead on the O's. The 1-2 to Vladdy. He smashes that one, but foul down the first base line and up about 25 rows into the seats. Springer talking with Tapia, one of the guys he drove in. It was a Chapman single and a Tapia walk that set up Springer's 3-run homer. Deep breaths from George, who has changed this game. 4-2 Blue Jays. Lyles into the wind. His 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Vladdy tosses the bat away as he goes down on a slider. But for the Blue Jays, their biggest offensive frame so far. They score 3 runs on 2 hits, do not leave a man on, and lead 4-2 through 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This October, you need to be at Rogers Center.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
3-run home run has the Blue Jays in front. 4-2 Toronto in the series opener. Welcome back to the Rogers Center as we start the 6th inning. Pitching change for Toronto. brought to you by Certainteed Pro All the Way. Left-hander Kikuchi goes 2 innings. Now another lefty, Tim Meza, is into the game. With Ben Nicholson-Smith, I'm Ben Schulman. And what do you think about the move to Meza?
Well, it's interesting, and we're seeing the way the Blue Jays attack the top of this Baltimore order. First it was Richards, then it was Kikuchi, now it's Meza, another lefty. So John Schneider very intentionally giving them different looks.
His pitch to Jorge Mateo, strike 1 against the right-handed hitter. Mateo's at the bottom of the order. Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutschman to up next. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. 89 on a slider from Meza. He has such a free and easy motion as he just takes a relaxed stride toward the plate. The 0-2, down low.
And of course, in a bullpen game, Meza will not be the last reliever to come in. We're already seeing Adam Simber start to get loose out in left field in anticipation of what's to come, potentially a few batters from here.
Both bullpens with a reliever up as we enter the 6th inning. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 95-mile-per-hour sinker down and away from Mateo. First batter faced yields a strikeout for Tim Meza. Warming up in the Orioles pen is Joey Crable. Here's the top of the order hitter, center fielder Cedric Mullins. For Tim Meza, he brings a high 2s ERA into this game. With 1 out, the left-on-left pitch. Called, no, not called strike 1. That misses just away. 1-0. 4-2 Blue Jays. 6th inning. Nobody on. The 1-0. Bounced 2-0. The 6th inning is presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Meza's 2-0. Fastball that time in the zone, and it's 2-1. For Meza, he's having really the best year of his career, although he has been hurt a few times. He kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. Sinker in, and it's 2-2. What do you think has enabled him to improve upon, last season where he had a 3.4 ERA, which is very good as well?
We've seen, more of him attacking the zone, better health from Meza. Certainly, he is someone who is going to be incredibly important for the Jays. Likely their leverage lefty.
2-2. Chopper to first on 1 hop. Underhand snag by Vlad. He was right beside the bag when he got it. Steps on, 2 outs.
Because once you get to October, Yusei Kikuchi, gave the Jays a couple innings and a bulk roll today, allowing 2 runs. Maybe he's on the playoff roster as someone who can absorb low leverage innings, but realistically, if you need to get some lefties or turn around a switch hitter here, like they're doing with Adley Rutschman, then Meza is the prime candidate for that. So he's going to be pitching some really important innings for this team.
And I think a great development of his career too is he is great against lefties, but he can also get righties out. You don't have to worry about him dealing with right-handed hitters. There's the first pitch, strike to Adley Rutschman. 2 outs, base is empty. 4-2 Blue Jays, top of the 6th. Now, you might want to worry a little bit just whenever Rutschman's at the plate. He had a 2-run homer to give the Orioles a brief lead last time up. The next pitch, called strike 2. That was another sinker inside against Rutschman, batting right. Even for Adley Rutschman, it was pretty surprising to see him hit a right-handed home run. More power, higher average from the left side. The 0-2, check swing on a pitch away, appeal. He did go, says Quinn Walcott, the first base umpire. So that'll do it for the top of the 6th inning. A pair of strikeouts for Tim Meza. Blue Jays have the middle of the order when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The streak continues for Kevin Gausman. He strikes out the side. Here the fifth inning.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Bottom of the sixth inning at the Rogers Center. Series opener against the Orioles. First of three, and the Blue Jays are up 4-2. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. To my left is Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. And let's take a quick Bet365 standings update with Bet365. You can bet on things like player props, totals, or the money line across many different sports, 19 plus. Play responsibly, Ontario only. Blue Jays enter this one 6.5 back of the division lead. Half the game up on the final wild card spot. That's Tampa. And then 5 up on the Orioles. Looking to extend that today. But, of course, a lot of games affecting the Blue Jays around the league. After Bo Bichette leads off this sixth inning, or bottom of the sixth, we'll take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Bichette goes in against a new pitcher. Pitching change brought to you by Certainteed, pro all the way. The right-hander Joey Crable is the first arm out of the Baltimore pen. That ends 5 innings of work from Jordan Lyles, who gave up 2 home runs and 4 runs total. Here's the pitch to Bichette. Swinging a liner to right center field. Down, base hit for Bo. 2 bounces into the glove of Anthony Santander. Bichette stays hot. There's his first hit tonight.
Vintage Bo Bichette right there, going opposite field, hard contact. No defender's going to catch that one. And another leadoff runner on base here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the sixth.
Bo Bichette, one of the best in baseball, going the other way, and now on a 16-game on-base streak. He's helped the Blue Jays climb into this position. Other teams trying to rip the Blue Jays out of the playoffs. What's going on right now as Teoscar steps up?
We'll start at the Trop, where the Rangers are still leading 4-2. That game now in the top of the sixth inning.
Here's the pitch to Teo. Swing and a miss on a Crable cutter. 0-1.
So that's good news for the Blue Jays and their fans. Even the players this time of year do check. I was talking to David Phelps earlier in the week, and he referred to this time of year as box score season. So you're not alone in checking those scores.
The 0-1. Outside, a little bit low. Phelps is trying to make his second playoff appearance of his career. Did it with the Yankees when he was a rookie and has not gone back since. So you can understand why he is especially anxious about what's going on and try and get there.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the Yankees. They are now up 3-0 on the Brewers in Milwaukee.
Throw over to first and a dive back save from Bichette.
Aaron Judge
Let me guess. Yeah.
1 for 1 with an infield single.
Okay.
So he has not yet hit home run 58 on the season, but we'll have our eyes on that game and that series for the Yankees, because Aaron Judge is just in the midst of an incredible offensive year.
There's the pitch to Teo. He pops it up first base side foul. A jog from Mountcastle over near the foul warning track. He squeezes it, and there's one out.
And we mentioned Justin Verlander earlier. He is still on the mound for the Astros, who now have a 1-0 lead over the Athletics. They're in the third inning. Verlander threw 2 2/3. He's already struck out 5. So he is in top form. No hits allowed from Justin Verlander.
Likely the AL Cy Young Award winner. Kevin Biggio, son of the former Astro, Craig Biggio, up to the plate. Runner on, 1 out. Another check on Bo, who's back again safely, easily. It's Joey Crable's first inning out of the pen. And for Crable, it's really his first legit season in the majors. He pitched 2 games in 2018 with Arizona, 6 games split between Tampa and Baltimore. This is now his 51st appearance of the year. And another throw over, Bichette back safely. The Orioles have pulled guys from all over. It's somewhat, I mean, these are very talented baseball players, don't get me wrong, but an island of misfit toys. Guys claimed off waivers, guys who were traded for players to be named later. Crable was a 12th round pick in 2011, and yet they've gotten good innings out of him. He gets a swing and a miss from Biggio on the first pitch, 0-1. Crable with a 2.77 ERA, 50 appearances.
It's a great season for him. Brian Baker certainly fits that mold as well after pitching in the Blue Jays system and very briefly for the Blue Jays. Of course, he got into it with the Jays when they were at Camden Yards recently.
0-1. Down low against the lefty swinging Biggio. Runner on first, 4-2 Jays lead, bottom of the 6th. One of the setup men for Baltimore, CNL Perez, claimed off waivers from Cincinnati. Throw over to first again, and Bichette is back safely with a dive. The Blue Jays don't really steal that many bases. Bo Bichette with 10 is second on the team in stolen bases, but he's also been caught 8 times.
Yeah, as a team, their success rate is right around that 2/3 mark, where you're not going to be pushing it that often if you're only stealing at a 2/3 success rate.
Bichette leaves. The 1-1 is low. Throw down to second. He's there safely. The throw was wide to the left. Well, how about that? Bo Bichette was with his 11th stolen base of the year, right when we were doubting that he would do it, and now a runner in scoring position.
That's right. And Crable was onto something. He could sense that Bichette was thinking about going, and then off went Bichette. He was a big base stealer last year, has not been able to sustain that same success rate. And so he's slowed up on the attempts, but that was a big one right there, now in scoring position for Biggio.
And that's against a really good catcher, too. Rutschman in the top 5th of catchers in terms of pop time. The pitch to Biggio fouled off. Two balls and 2 strikes against Kevin Biggio. 23 RBIs on the season. A single could score another run with the speedy Bichette on second. 4-2 Jays. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. The pitch. Lined foul left side, and it sinks just below the 200 level. It would be a little crazy, but with 1 out is the time you think about stealing third. If you're going to. Now, I don't think he's going to.
If I'm not mistaken, when Vlad and Bo did the double steal, was that not with 1 out?
It was with 1 out. I don't think Bo knew it was coming. I believe it was Vladdy improvised yesterday. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Biggio is down, strike 3. So 2 outs. Here's Matt Chapman, 2 for 2 tonight with a runner on second and a 4-2 Jays lead. But yeah, that Vladdy steal, his 8th of the year, he took off for third because he had timed up Shane McClanahan. Now with 2 outs, less of a reason. With 1 out, you set up a sac fly, RBI ground out. With 2 outs, Bo's running on contact. He more than likely scores on a single anyway. Chapman with a home run and a single. The pitch, inside, ball 1. When he gets hot, he tends to get really hot for extended stretches. Had about a 1,200 OPS in the month of July. And his hot streak really was part of July and then it strayed out of the month. So that wasn't even the entire time he was hot. The 1-0 outside, 2 balls, no strikes. But you had said earlier, and I agree, if you freeze his numbers right now, currently hitting .237 with a .773 OPS, that's a successful year for Matt Chapman.
100%. And he'll be back next year. Like, if you could get that, you would take it.
2-0 pitch. Swing and a drive to left. Going way back to the wall. That ball is in the second deck. Second home run of the night for Matt Chapman. 6-2 Blue Jays. Well, I guess we would have to freeze the OPS a little higher now. Matt Chapman's 3 for 3.
Exactly. Let's freeze it here. Let's freeze it here. Just as we're saying he's done enough for the Blue Jays, he goes out and does a little bit more with the 2-run home run that builds this Blue Jays lead to 6-2. Matt Chapman 3 for 3 today, 2 home runs after going almost a month between home runs. This is as locked in as we've seen him at the plate.
Chapman has accounted for half the Blue Jay runs batted in. That one he hit even further than his first one. Both of them have gone to the second deck in left field. The bases are empty now, and the Blue Jays are up 6-2. Raimel Tapia at the plate. Crable kicks and offers. Down and in, 1-0. And a buzz throughout the crowd. A big one here under a dark sky on a nice night in Toronto.
Yeah, big crowd. They're definitely feeling it, as they should be. Their team's up 6-2.
1-0 inside. Tapia had to move his back left ankle to get out of the way. 2-0.
And as you know, Ben, and I'm sure all our listeners have followed and watched and listened to enough baseball over the years to realize how unpredictable this sport is. But going into this game, on paper, you have the Orioles' most dependable starter against the Blue Jays trying to scrap together a bullpen game. So it wasn't a game where the Jays were putting their best foot forward.
Swing and a miss from Tapia. Big cut on the 2-0. It started with Trevor Richards, who struck out the side in his 1 inning of work. Julian Merriweather went 2 scoreless. Kikuchi gives up 2 runs, but to his credit, after the triple and homer, retires 6 in a row, keeps the game close. And 1 scoreless inning from Tim Meza, cut and a miss on the 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the Jays are putting their best foot forward. Adam Simber remains warming up down the left field line.
Exactly, and they still have work to do. Still 9 outs to go against an Orioles team that has surprised people all year long. So certainly some work to do if they want to secure their 82nd win.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Changeup got Tapia to chase, but the Blue Jays don't mind too much. They tack on 2 more on Matt Chapman's 2nd home run of the game. It's 6-2. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
There are some incredible Jays Care Super September early bird prizes up for grabs this weekend. With just one 50-50 ticket, you could take home signed Blue Jays memorabilia, exclusive travel packages, and $10,000 cash prizes. And have you seen the jackpot? It's already $824,285. The earlier you buy, the more chances you have to win, Blue Jays fans. Get your tickets from anywhere in Ontario at bluejays.com/5050. Pitching change. Adam Simber into the game for the Blue Jays. They're up 6-2 as we start the seventh. The pitch to Anthony Santander is strike one. Pitching change brought to you by Certainteed Pro All the Way. Toronto elects to go with the deep side armor. His pitch is tagged to center field. Springer sprinting back on the track at the wall, reaches up and makes the catch. Nice run for George for the first out.
Well, we have a great view of that ball as it was heading toward the center field wall, and it really was spinning and tailing toward left field. So Springer had to get a good read on that and move with the spin of the ball, stuck with it, and made a nice defensive play on a night that he's also hit a big home run.
You wonder if maybe this is Springer's last half inning in center. He's scheduled to bat next inning. They have Jackie Bradley Jr. in the game and Bradley Zimmer on the bench, plus Whit Merrifield, if they want to use any of those options. Pitch to Ryan Mountcastle, slider for strike one.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have to imagine after Springer hits, probably time for Bradley Zimmer to come into the game and give the Blue Jays some lockdown defense.
And that would be a great no-fly zone defensive outfield. Tapia, Zimmer, Bradley. The next pitch to Mountcastle, up and in. First, though, they got to get through this top of the seventh with Adam Simber on. 3.08 ERA this year for Simber. He kicks and delivers. Fly ball to center again. This one a little shallower. Springer jogs to right center and makes the catch about 15, 20 feet in front of the track. There are two down. 68th appearance of the season for Simber. He's made as many as 72 in a season in his career, but he's been an absolute workhorse for the Jays.
They got a few of those in their bullpen this year. He'll fly past that 72 at this rate. The Jays have really needed him. One of the cogs in the bullpen all season long.
His first pitch to left-handed hitting Gunnar Henderson is low, ball one. And those 72 appearances were more than half done with the Blue Jays in 2021. 33 with Miami, 39 with Toronto. The next pitch, a slider low again. This isn't his favorable matchup, left-handed hitter. But he's pitched so much. He's pitched out of these situations before. The 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Bases are empty. There are two outs. Blue Jays are shifting to the pull against Gunnar Henderson as they lead 6-2. The 2-1 pitch. Slider in, 3-1.
That slider is a pitch that Simber has had a lot of good results with against left-handed batters. So it's a little counterintuitive because, of course, it's such a low arm slot righty, but it does work at times.
3-1, slider fouled off, and the count is full. Crowd of over 36,000 clapping for Simber, who's trying to end the top of the seventh. The 3-2, line to left field, a base hit. Henderson hits it where the shift isn't, and he's a two-out base runner. Well, most of the time the math works out. Every once in a while, you just grimace at that ball being hit where everyone is not standing.
Yeah, nice swing there by Gunnar Henderson, who shows some speed as he rounds first base. Just getting his first taste of the major leagues in the course of the last few weeks here. He's already impressed the Orioles and really made it known that he's here to stay and part of this core with Baltimore.
Number one Orioles prospect with the fact that Adley Rutschman has graduated from prospect status. The pitch to Ramon Urias is called strike one. And Simmer might have been given one a little bit there as that looked like it landed low and inside. Urias with a foul pop-up to third and a strikeout today. Simmer rocks and uncorks. Sinker, strike two. That just looks like an unhittable pitch. Starts like it's going to hit you, breaks toward the plate, and then breaks back in. Runner on first, 2 out, 6-2 Jays. The pitch is high, and it's 1-2. That hit, by the way, for Gunnar Henderson, the third hit the Orioles have today. They had consecutive base hits, including a homer in the fourth, for their only runs. 1-2, wave and a miss, strike three. Elevated a four-seamer, and Urias couldn't catch up to it. A strikeout for Simmer to strand Gunnar Henderson. One hit, one left on, and as we head to the seventh inning stretch, the Blue Jays lead 6-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to Wagner Field, and here's tonight's starting lineup.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uba bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
With Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. With Ben Nicholson-Smith, I'm Ben Schulman. Bottom of the seventh inning, Blue Jays in front 6-2, and Brandon Hyde dips back into his bullpen. The Orioles bring in right-hander Mike Baumann. Pitching change brought to you by Certainty Pro all the way. Jansen with a double and 2 at-bats today, takes the first pitch and swings at it. Ground ball to deep short. Mateo from left field throws off line. An infield single for Danny Jansen. Danny now 2 for 3 in this game, a leadoff base runner for the Blue Jays. And with that, it's time to check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Ben, what's going on?
Well, let's start at Tropicana Field where the Rays are pushing a little bit. Rangers had an early lead. Now that lead is down to 4-3. They're in the sixth innings. The Blue Jays, of course, liking that Rangers lead and hoping that it stays where it is, given how close the Jays are to the Rays and the Mariners in the standings. And the Mariners will get going a little bit later against the Angels.
Here's the pitch to Jackie Bradley Jr., former Red Sox, takes high, 1-0. Definitely, it would be big for the Blue Jays to expand their lead on Tampa. It's half a game right now. 1-0. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. Appeal to third. No swing, says Nick Marley. 2 balls, no strikes. We mentioned earlier the Blue Jays do not hold the tiebreaker as it stands on Tampa Bay. Still games to be played. Blue Jays have one more 4-game set against the Rays. 2-0. Inside, 3-0. The division dictating a lot of the end of the season. Blue Jays are going to play everyone in the division one more time before the end of the year. They have one at home versus the Yankees, one at home versus the Red Sox, and they go on the road to the Orioles to end the year. 3-1 taken for a strike.
Yeah, it's really an American League East heavy schedule to end things out. The only exception being the Phillies. The Phillies right now are up 2-1 in Atlanta. They're in the 6th inning.
That's a playoff team as it stands right now. 3-1 is popped up. Foul territory. Behind the plate, third base side. Rutschman moves over, ditches his mask last second, makes the catch while banging into Urias. He's got a smile on his face. A close call there, but the Orioles getting out.
That was a very high pop-up by Jackie Bradley Jr. Rutschman had it all along, but Urias was there, and Rutschman ends up reaching up, kind of stabbing at the ball to make the catch.
And it was a really late toss of the mask. Usually you take it off. Once you know where you're going, you ditch it as quick as possible. He almost hit Urias with the mask and then actually did run into him. But Rutschman and Urias discuss it. They're fine. And the top of the order is up. Pitch to George Springer. Called strike 1. Runner on first, 1 out. 6-2 Blue Jay lead. Springer probably has the biggest hit in this game. 3-run homer to turn a 2-1 deficit into a 4-2 advantage. That was back in the 5th. Next pitch, outside, 1-1. Springer was last up to the plate against starter Jordan Lyles. Now he gets the second Baltimore reliever, right-hander Mike Baumann. They shift him to pull. The 1-1, foul tipped into the glove of Rutschman. 1-2. And we had talked about it top of the inning. This could be the last time at the plate for George.
It makes a lot of sense at this point for the Blue Jays after this at-bat to get Bradley Zimmer in there.
1-2, swing and a miss. Springer goes down on 4 pitches, and there are 2 down for Baumann there at 93 mile per hour. They're calling it a slider. It almost has to be a cutter at that velocity, but today's baseball, 2 down, Vladdy coming up.
Yeah, impressive pitch either way. Springer goes back to the dugout. We'll see what the Blue Jays do here, but there are 2 reasons for potentially making that substitution. One would be you get better defense right now, which Zimmer is their best defensive center fielder, as good as Springer is. And 2, you get Springer off his feet. He's already been out there for a couple hours. It's a long season. Just chances to get him a little bit of rest can help.
First pitch to Vladdy, taken for his strike. A fastball at 94, and it's 0-1. Baumann kicks and fires, misses upstairs at 97. On the Blue Jays bench today is Zimmer, Moreno, Espinal, Merrifield, and technically Kirk, although it seems pretty unlikely that he would do that. Resume baseball activities today, but is not running. 1-1 down low.
And with Kirk on the bench, a couple hits for Danny Jansen. That's where having that depth is so important for the Blue Jays. And the expanded rosters give them a little bit of extra breathing room. Moreno, of course, available if they needed something.
The 2-1. Sliced foul and into the seats behind the first base dugout, about 10 rows up. Packed house. Count is 2-2. I mean, there definitely is, with the fact that the Blue Jays want to catch Jansen a lot and DH Kirk a lot, an argument to keep Moreno around in case there's an injury or you need to make some sort of substitution. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. This one a little bit more straight back from Vlad.
Yeah, I agree with that. and it's about winning right now. They need to win games. They need to push in the wild card standings, push in the American League East to the extent that that's possible, although Yankees up 5-0 over Milwaukee right now, so they're certainly in control in the AL East. But there's also the benefit of Moreno being around this team and learning.
2-2. Slap to right field. It hangs up enough for a shoestring four-handed catch by Santander. Took an awkward route to retire Vlad and end the inning. Leadoff single for Jansen goes nowhere, but through 7, the Blue Jays are leading 6-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Ready to improve your bottom line? The Room can match you with a top financial analyst. Trusted by small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs, The Room's virtual financial analysts are highly trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Drive business growth with a virtual financial analyst from The Room. It's like listening to all the financial programs rolled into one. Get started today at trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Where would you sit in the dugout? With the pitchers, near the coaches, or on the steps closest to the action? Toronto Blue Jays baseball continues on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Tomorrow is Marvel's Superhero Day at the ballpark, and the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Spider-Man figurine giveaway presented by Toys R Us. Plus, there will be Marvel-themed photo opportunities and activities in the WestJet flight deck throughout the game. Get your tickets today for this Super Day today at BlueJays.com. Starting the 8th inning, you'd think Thanos just walked in the building. Rougned Odor up to the plate to lead off for Baltimore against the new Blue Jays pitcher. Pitching change brought to you by Certainty, Pro All the Way. The right-hander Anthony Bass is on. Here's Bass's pitch. It's called strike one. Odor showed bunt and pulled it back, but it was a slider that dropped in anyway. 0-1. With Ben Nicholson-Smith, I'm Ben Schulman. Do you have a favorite superhero, a Marvel superhero?
You know what? I don't. I'm not. They have all these days like Star Wars Day and Superhero Day.
0-1, down low, 1-1.
Those aren't really my. I'm a baseball guy. I'm here for the
That's
baseball. Fair. But what about you?
Mine's the Hulk. The Hulk
Nice.
has always been my favorite. I am interested in seeing She-Hulk. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
But if it's anything like the Hulk, then I think I'll be into it.
Spider-Man's Marvel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
1-1, swing and a miss, 1-2. It would be tough for them to give away the Spider-Man figurine if he was DC.
True. I like Spider-Man. I do like Spider-Man.
So have you played the Spider-Man video games?
No.
Oh, those are the best. Odor down in the count, 1-2. 6-2 Jays lead, top of the 8th. Bass in the set. He looks home and fires. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball in the dirt. Fools Odor, 1 down. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 1 down, Austin Hayes is up. 0-for-1 with a walk and a strikeout. Anthony Bass trying to work the 8th inning and keep it at 6-2. His pitch down and away, 1-0. Bass, of course, acquired from Miami for Jordan Groshans, who, congrats to him, hit his first major league home run recently. But what do you think Bass has added to this pen?
It's an immense addition. Hopefully it's a win-win trade and the Marlins get something with Groshans.
1-0, a little bit low.
But with Bass and also with Zach Pop, but primarily Bass, to be very effective against especially right-handed batters, give them some strikeouts, give them another late inning, high leverage option. It's a really big acquisition. It's their biggest one that they got at the deadline.
And Bass has had a 1.45 ERA with the Jays. He delivers there with his strike to make it 2-1. His second stint with Toronto, although wasn't in Toronto in 2020 when he was a Blue Jay, originally a draft pick of the Padres out of Wayne State University in Detroit. 2-1. Down low, 3-1. I got to talk to Anthony this week a little bit. He was a Fort Wayne Tin Cap, the team that I broadcast for this summer. Actually, he was on the team in their most successful year, one of the best minor league seasons at that level ever, won over 100 games. And he said at that point in Fort Wayne, in front of thousands of people, he thought that was the big leagues compared to Wayne State. His next pitch is low and away. That's ball 4, inside, and Hayes gets a 1-out walk. But he said some of the big college guys, they get there to the Midwest League, which formerly featured a Blue Jays affiliate in Lansing, and they think it's a step down. For him, it was such a big step up that he thought those crowds were big. Tonight in front of 36,000 at the Rogers Center.
That's awesome. Yeah, and more to come, without a doubt. I mean, his first stint with the Blue Jays, he didn't really experience this either because, of course, that was the 2020 season. The Jays weren't playing here.
Pitch to Jorge Mateo, right-handed hitter, grounds it foul, third base line. 0-1. 1 out and a runner on first. 6-2 Jays, top 8.
We should mention, too, to follow up on the thread of Springer, he's out of the game. Bradley Zimmer in center field. So that ended up coming to fruition. And for all the reasons that we talked about, makes a lot of sense.
More defense, get George a rest. The 0-1. Hit hard to center field. That's on the line. It's down for a base hit. One hops into the glove of Zimmer, who options it to the shortstop, Bichette. Hayes up to second. Mateo at first. And this is getting a little dangerous, at least, as the top of the order is coming up. Pete Walker is going to go talk to Anthony Bass. It also looks like Jimmy Garcia is starting to get loose for the Blue Jays. Garcia right now still with the hoodie on, but as Pete Walker talks to the entire infield, plus pitcher and catcher, Garcia is getting his sweatshirt off. He pitched on Wednesday and Monday of this past week. 25 pitches Wednesday, 22 Monday. So not a light workload, but he has had 2 days off in between.
Yeah, he is another one of those relievers who's so essential for this team.
Jordan Romano is up. Garcia initially going over, and all of a sudden Romano has stepped in. He's warming up in case he needs to go further than an inning here. And potentially a save situation. It depends. We'll have to see what the situation is when he comes in. But it's 6-2 Blue Jays, 2 on, 1 out. The pitch to Cedric Mullins. Off the end of the bat, popped down the third base line. Chapman sprints into foul territory. Over the shoulder catch. How good is he? That's another nice play running to the backhand side. 2 down.
Great defensive play there by Matt Chapman. Once again, running into foul territory. As you said earlier in the broadcast, Ben, he got a lot of practice doing that in Oakland and so comfortable going toward the stands, going toward that netting, gets a great read on it and makes that play. That's not an automatic play.
But Chapman makes it look easy, and maybe it's all those days at Oco that have helped him out. It's like going from playing hockey on Olympic ice to all of a sudden you're on NHL ice and things get a little bit tighter, although that's good for Matt Chapman, who runs it down. 2 outs, 2 on, 6-2 Blue Jays. Adley Rutschman up, batting left again. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by the stomach of Jansen, 1-0. So only one pitch for Bass to get that first out coming out of the mound visit. Romano's still warming up. And although Garcia was up, it doesn't seem like he is going to get loose now. Instead, they decided to go to the closer.
At this point, if Bass struggles, you have to imagine Romano comes in for 4 outs. If not, he might pitch the ninth.
1-0, lined up the middle, right at Bo Bichette, positioned behind the second base bag. He snags it and ends the inning. A little trouble for Bass, but he gets out of it. A walk and a hit, both stranded, and it is 6-2 Blue Jays going to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck, and we've got lots of men and lots of trucks. Whether you're planning a move to a new home or to a new office down the hall, big or small, we move them all. We even sell packing and moving supplies. But no matter what you need, we'll do it with a smile. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. So when you're planning your next move, call.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
Welcome back to the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save with Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. Bottom of the 8th inning, potentially the last chance for insurance for the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, and Kevin Biggio are up this inning to try and do it. 2 relievers getting loose right now for the Blue Jays, Phelps and Jimmy Garcia. They have sat down Romano after initially bringing him up. I'll get your thoughts in a moment. First, the Mike Baumann pitch to Bo Bichette is destroyed foul down the right field line and nearly into the second deck, 0-1.
Really interesting developments in a bullpen game. It stays interesting from the beginning until the 9th inning here for the Blue Jays. My read is this: if the Blue Jays score, it goes to Phelps. If they don't score, it goes to Garcia.
6-2 game, the 0-1. Again, Bichette with a hard swing and a foul ball to the right side on an inside fastball, 0-2.
And my thought on Romano is they had him up in case there had been runners on in a tough situation. You bring him in to get out of the 8th, and at that point, you probably keep him in for the 9th as well.
The only interesting thing is, of all the relievers, Romano's actually about as well rested as anyone. Next pitch to Bichette. He grounds the ball foul up the first base line. Still 0-2. Romano has thrown only 14 pitches in the last 5 days. The only guy in the pen who had thrown fewer than that coming into this game was Tim Meza. He already went today. Now, I don't think they're at a point in the year where they get him up just to get him up because he hasn't pitched in a little bit, because they want to save him for when they need him. But he is actually more rested than Garcia and definitely Phelps. 0-2, slider down and away. Phelps pitched yesterday. Then again, Trevor Richards, who started this game, also pitched yesterday, and he had a pretty good first inning where he struck out the side. 1-2 to the leadoff hitter, Bo. Again, fouls it up. Boy, he is a tough at-bat right now.
He really is. We've already seen one foul ball down the right field line. He has a hit to right field today, all of which underscores, as much as he has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball, arguably the hottest hitter in baseball in September, but he's still with that same approach we've seen all season.
The 1-2. Ground ball left side into the glove of the first baseman, Urias. Throw on the run, beats Bo by his step. There's the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Fan Appreciation Weekend, presented by TD, is October 1st and 2nd. It's all about celebrating you, the best fans in the league. You've been helping take the Jays team to the next level. On Saturday, October 1st only, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays vest giveaway. This is one you won't want to miss. Visit BlueJays.com. A little bit chilly here as we get to the 9:35 hour here in Toronto. The first pitch to Hernandez outside 1-0. 1 out, base is empty. 6-2 Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. Maybe an advantage for the Blue Jays playing in the colder temperatures. Now, a lot of these guys are new, but they're more experienced than the new Orioles. 1-0, popped up foul behind first. That's into the seats, 1-1. I can tell you it hasn't stopped the ball from flying.
The ball is really flying.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, these nights are great. I mean, it's cool for sure. Fans out there probably want to have a long sleeve out there, even though our play-by-play man is rocking the short sleeves tonight. But it's really great having the roof open. This is a great scene for the Jays.
The 1-1, fouled back 1-2. You shouldn't have told my mom I'm short sleeve. Now I'm going to get a text about that. It's going to be a whole thing. Teoscar Hernandez still looking to get on base for the first time today, although he's hit 2 balls hard. Diving stop at third by Urias in the 2nd inning prevented him of a hit. Then he lined a ball, and it was shoestring caught by Cedric Mullins in center. Easily could be 2 for 3. Mike Baumann on the bump. His 1-2. Chopped foul. Whoever's coming in the 9th for the Blue Jays, they're going to get plenty of time. It already looks like Phelps is ready to go. He is taking a lot of time between pitches, as is Garcia at this point. Right on right pitch. Teoscar hits it off the end of the bat on the ground to second. Running stop Odor. Throw off balance to first in time. Nice play from Rougned Odor, whether the fans like it or not. 2 outs.
Yeah, it really was. He can still do a lot of things well on a baseball field. We've seen him make some really acrobatic slides against the Blue Jays. Still hits the occasional home run. And the defense, as you saw right there, still with some range and some good balance to make sure that throw was on target to first base.
Now Odor backs up into right field just about 15 feet because the left-handed pull hitter, Kevin Biggio, is up. The pitch. Down in the dirt, 1-0. 3 infielders on the right side. The third baseman, Urias, is playing pretty much halfway between second and third and a foot away from the infield grass. 1-0. Bounced. And no, that hit Biggio in the foot. So he's a 2-out base runner. Very casual there, flipping the bat away. And giving us at least one more shot to watch Matt Chapman hit today. 3 for 3 with 2 home runs.
Yeah, he is swinging the bat very well. All 3 of his hits going to left field. A couple home runs into the second deck, as well as a single in the 5th inning. He scored 3 runs. Just a great offensive game and great defensive game from Matt Chapman today.
He has led the Blue Jays in this series opener. It's 6-2 Toronto. Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, and Biggio on first. Baumann kicks and delivers. Chapman takes outside, 1-0. You wonder how many pitches Chapman really gets to hit here. If you're Mike Baumann, you might want to take your chances with Tapia, although that would be putting a runner in scoring position if you walk Chapman. 1-0, comes right back with a strike. 4-seamer in the mid-90s to make it 1-1.
I think I hear some Chappie chants.
(1-1) to the third baseman. Inside, 2-1. Matt Chapman knows what it's like to be in races. The Athletics pretty perennial playoff team, at least at one point earlier on in Chapman's career. 2-1, swing and a miss, 2-2. But now he's in a spot where he's not the young guy. He is one of the older guys on this team. By no means is he old, even in baseball terms, but on this young team, he is one of the guys expected to lead, doing that tonight with 2 homers. 2 outs and a runner on. The 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Biggio will be running on the next offering.
And when he was first acquired by the Blue Jays in that trade right after the lockout, there was a thought, okay, he's moving from Oakland to Toronto. This could be a chance for him to hit 30-plus home runs. He's now at 26, so he does have an outside shot still at reaching 30.
3-2 pitch. Biggio leaves, called strike 3 on a pitch that looked to be above the zone. Chapman goes down. He doesn't love it, but a lot has gone his way tonight at least. 2 home runs to help the Blue Jays to a 6-2 lead. 3 more outs to close out a win. We will return soon in the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Looking for cloud, data, or web help? There's no tech shortage in the room. The Room is a talent community offering highly skilled, ready-to-work talent when you need it. The Room's tech talent is trained to Silicon Valley standards, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and individually matched to fit your needs. Find top-tier tech talent fast, just like the kind of people who developed this cool streaming app you're on right now. Visit trytheroom.com/tech.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Alek Manoah has dominated the Kansas City Royals over 7 shutout frames.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Top of the 9th inning, Jimmy Garcia is on. Pitching change brought to you by Certainteed. Pro all the way. Non-save situation with the Blue Jays up 4, but still an important one to start this series as Garcia tries to secure a win in Game 1. Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle, and Gunnar Henderson are due up for the O's. The pitch to Santander, breaking ball for strike 1. Garcia has been about as sure as they come, a 2.35 ERA out of the pen. 0-1. Fouled back and off to the left, and there are 2 strikes on the switch hitter batting left, Santander. By the way, in a speedy check on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Tampa's still trailing 4-3. And Milwaukee has scored 3 in a row to make it 5-3 Yankees over Brewers. 0-2 outside. So if scores hold, the Blue Jays could get to a 1.5 game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. And who knows if the Brewers can string something together, maybe cut their deficit behind the Yankees in the AL East. 1-2, lifted a mile high. Foul first base side. Vladdy reaches up his right arm and two-handed catches it, backpedaling near the first base dugout. 1 down.
And of course, if the score holds here, then that would create a 6-game separation between the Jays and the Orioles. That would be as big a gap as we've seen in a while between these two teams.
The Orioles, since calling up Adley Rutschman, have even had a better record than the Blue Jays have. But Toronto's starting to tilt that back in their favor. With a win today, it would be 21 wins in the last 30 games. First pitch to Ryan Mountcastle, called strike one. 1 out, nobody on, 6-2 Blue Jays, top of the ninth. A reason Toronto has had control. We have not had to talk very much about Ryan Mountcastle, who's typically a Blue Jays killer. 0-1. Swinging a fly ball to deep center field. Springer going back. He has room in front of the track. Squeezes it. 2 down. Mountcastle goes to 0 for 4 as a bunch of people held their breath and then didn't yell at me. Nearly yelled at me, but didn't yell at me. And the Orioles down to their final out. Gunnar Henderson up.
Just a reminder, the broadcasters do not have the power
We have no control.
impact what's happening on the field.
Garcia gets a new baseball. Fans are starting to get up on their feet. Over 36,500 here for this big Orioles series. Third to last series of the season. Garcia kicks and delivers. Strike one against the lefty swinger Henderson. 3 home runs for the Blue Jays. A Matt Chapman blast in the second, a George Springer 3-run shot in the fifth, and then a Chapman blast again have given them the lead. The 0-1 cut on and missed, and it's one more strike to a victory. Garcia adjusts the bill of his cap, tucks his glove on the left side of his chest, and looks in. He's now set, glove under his chin. He rocks and delivers. Drive to deep left field. Tapia going back at the wall, looks up. That ball is gone. A solo home run for Gunnar Henderson, and it's a 3-run game.
Well, these Orioles are a much different team than the one that began the year. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman up with this team, making an impact, both with home runs tonight. Henderson looking very impressive for the Orioles. And yeah, 6-3 game. This is pretty close.
That's the second major league home run for Gunnar Henderson. Jordan Romano is back up in standing. He hasn't been throwing, but it's now a 3-run game. 6-3 Blue Jays, top of the ninth. Ramon Urias is up. The pitch from Garcia. Check swing, he did go. Looked like the sinker it was. 0-1. Urias 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Romano is just pacing around in the pen, flipping the ball into his glove. Garcia kicks and fires. Hit up the middle, off the glove of Garcia to the second baseman, Biggio. His throw to first, and that's the ball game. Blue Jays win 6-3. They stave off that late home run. Jimmy Garcia locks it up. And for Toronto, it's another win over the Orioles. They've now won 5 out of the last 6 against the O's.
And that creates the separation that the Blue Jays needed. Now they are 6 games ahead of Baltimore in the standings. And really, on paper, this was a game that they didn't have a lot of business winning, with Trevor Richards starting for the Blue Jays, Yusei Kikuchi coming in relief. But instead, they got some great performances from their collective pitching staff to hold the Orioles to 3 runs over the 9 innings. It was really a team effort with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relievers, if you count Richards in that group, all contributing for a Blue Jays win that really is a big one.
Set themselves up with 2 shots to win the series. Tomorrow, Jose Barrios, and then the next day, Alek Manoah. But a good start to the series. Matt Chapman with 2 home runs and a George Springer 3-run homer propel the Blue Jays to a victory on Friday night. We will take a quick step aside, but our coverage is not over just because the game is. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 350.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
That bell means there's a new tire store in West Chicago, Bell Tire. It also means you'll get up to $200 off a set of 4 tires at our grand opening sale. We want you to come get tires, but we don't want you to come back until you have to. That's why Bell Tire will give you up to $200 off 4 tires, plus more free lifetime tire services to help you get more out of your tires. $200 off 4 tires. What are you waiting for? Come get the lowest tire price, period, at Bell Tire. See storebelltire.com for details. Now open on West North Avenue.
To the Rogers Center following a Blue Jays series opening win. 6-3 Toronto over Baltimore with Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays had a bullpen day today, and you mentioned it as we wrapped up our game coverage. Not a day that I think of all 3 games you would have bet on being the one where they come out, pitch really well, and frankly, not a day where you would necessarily bet on them winning, but they fired on all facets in this game.
They really did. I mean, on the offensive side, I think you have to point to George Springer for that swing that turned it around, the 3-run home run. Of course, Matt Chapman with 2 home runs, also some great defense. And the pitching staff was at the center of this one. To have 7 pitchers contribute and keep the Orioles, for the most part, off the board. I mean, 2 of their young stars, Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, connected for home runs, both to left field. But still, this was a great overall team effort for the Blue Jays, and one that sets them up really nicely going into the next couple of days.
With the win, the Blue Jays move to 82-63. Here's a Bet365 standings update. Now Toronto is up 6 games on Baltimore for being in the playoffs. Now, they're not the bottom team, the Jays, in terms of the wild card right now. As we take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, the Rays are batting in the bottom of the 8th, trailing 4-3 to Texas. But Toronto, for now, has gained 1 game of separation on the Rays, which could turn to 1.5 in the next 15 or so minutes. You mentioned the Springer home run. Blue Jays down 2-1, 2-on, 3-2 count. And it looked like, at least we guessed, with Lyles not wanting to walk Springer and face Vladdy, he had to give Springer a strike, and George made no mistake to make it 4-2.
Yeah, exactly. And that was an aspect of it that almost got overlooked in the moment because Vladdy strikes out the next batter, and so the game moves on. But I really do think that Vladdy's presence in that situation, to some extent, and of course it's impossible to quantify, we'll never know, but with a 3-2 count, he did attack Springer, and Springer really made the most of that, connected for his best swing of the night.
Blue Jays go on to win 6-3, 6 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Clean game. Baltimore 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Attendance tonight over 36,000 people, 36573 to be exact. Watched a 2-hour, 40-minute Major League Baseball game. You don't see that every day, but the Blue Jays got this one done quickly. One reason why it wasn't stringing together base hits, it was long balls, including what has gotten us to our player of the game. Our player of the game presented by Bet365. Just download the app and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's favorite sportsbook. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Our player of the game, Matt Chapman, because he golfed 2 home runs in this game. Take a listen now. Long look in from Lyles. His 3-2 pitch. Hit high and deep to left field. Way back and gone. A solo home run for Matt Chapman. And the Blue Jays lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Chapman with a home run and a single. When he gets hot, he tends to get really hot for extended stretches. Had about a 1,200 OPS in the month of July. But you had said earlier, and I agree, if you freeze his numbers right now, currently hitting 237 with a 773 OPS, that's a successful year for Matt Chapman.
100%. And he'll be back next year. Like, if you could get that, you would take it.
2-0 pitch. Swing and a drive to left. Going way back to the wall. That ball is in the second deck. Second home run of the night for Matt Chapman. 6-2 Blue Jays. Well, I guess we would have to freeze the OPS a little higher now. Matt Chapman's 3 for 3.
Well, you called it right there, Ben. That was absolutely an impressive performance from Matt Chapman tonight. And when he gets hot, he gets really hot. He's now up to 26 home runs on the season. He was in the middle of everything today. He came into this game with 4 home runs against Jordan Lyles and built onto that total with home run number 5 against Lyles.